from the hot air balloon capital of the world, this is Balloon Fiesta Live, powered by ExxonMobil. Direct from the rooftop studio at Balloon Fiesta Park in Albuquerque, New Mexico, here are the hosts of Balloon Fiesta Live, Glen Moyer and Lloyd Jr.
Good morning, Albuquerque. It is day 7 of the 49th Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. You're watching Balloon Fiesta Live, sponsored by ExxonMobil, powered by ExxonMobil. I'm Glen Moyer, and as always, to my right-hand man, the executive producer and a great all-around guy, Mr. Lloyd Jr. Good morning, Art.
Good morning. I'll try and get your check signed today.
Thank you.
And good morning to everybody else watching from everywhere. Can you kill your audio on your?
Oh, I can do that.
Yeah,
sorry.
thank you very much. So good morning, everywhere. I've already seen Switzerland online in our YouTube chat room. Of course, you're checking out our Facebook one as well.
I've seen them there. I've seen Kentucky and Ohio, California. Michigan has just checked in. So, yeah, people are online and
ready to go
for day 7.
Day
right?
7.
Yeah.
Another special Shapes Day here at Balloon Fiesta Park.
That's right.
And so we're going to have our Dawn Patrol flight this morning. We will have special shaped balloons standing up, flying away, remaining static on the field. We're going to have all of our non-competitors take off from the field and fly away.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have all those competitors come flying in.
And the interesting thing about this morning is we've already heard from our flight officials, our safety teams, and the Balloon Meisters and his team that we have a reverse box. So that means, those of you here on the field, you know, we're used to seeing the balloons inflate and launch, and they fly toward the south. They come toward us.
Right off the field,
here on the rooftop studio. And then they climb high and move south to north. This morning, however, the balloons, the winds are not out of the north. In that case, the winds are from the north, the canyon drainage winds we talk about, and bring the balloons to the south. This morning, it's reverse.
So they're take off from the field, and they're going to go north. When they go high, they'll come back south, which means when they come in for competition, they're going to come right in,
right over our heads,
and dropping into the field
from the south. That's right.
We just saw a quick view of pilot's briefing there. We'll go out there when we get the weather, and they'll confirm the box conditions, the reverse box conditions for us. And so we'll be checking in with those guys, but it's going to be an interesting day today with the reverse box happening here, as if that indeed sets up as everyone expects. And so far, our weather guys have been right on, telling us what to expect, and we've actually been seeing those conditions. Great day in competition on board. We don't know the exact task, but we do know that the 5 poles will be back, and they'll be throwing that ring over the top of the poles.
Each pole worth $2,000 in prize money. If a single pilot gets his ring on the pole or her ring, they win the full $2,000. If multiple pilots ring a pole, then the $2,000 is split evenly amongst them. And when we talk about a ring, it's like a miniature hula hoop, maybe about, 12 inches across?
Yeah, it's about 12 inches. Here's one right here.
That's what it looks like.
And so, just enough to fit it over,
Yeah.
But the pole,
So pilots, if you don't make the pole, you're welcome to come try and get it on Art's head.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you don't win any money for that. You have to pay me for that one.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, $1,000.
Okay.
Of course, if you can get 2 guys to split it, then it's only $500 apiece.
Yeah, I might come up with a few bucks with some friends to see if we can't get that done.
Yeah. You got to be careful what you say up here, because so many people hear it and take everything we say literally.
It's on the internet. It must be true, right?
It must be. It must be, so that it's there. 3 pilots actually managed to ring the poles yesterday.
That's right.
Haven't confirmed all their names, but it's actually it was really fun to be out there, and we'll be out there again today, and we'll give them another chance. And since they had practice yesterday, I think there might even be more on the poles with their rings today.
Yeah, because they all had a shot at it to see how it works. And of course, are you going to retell the story about having jinxed Zarek?
Oh. So before we talk about that, we managed to get a clip from the basket of what it looks like coming in on the Ring the Pole event. So go ahead, Stephen, roll that for us, if you would, please. So there's the pole in front of them.
Yep, they're standing there in the basket flying, approaching the pole.
And they're kind of like, all right, we're getting closer. They're coming right in on it.
Got the ring ready.
Yep. And there it is. And
Bingo.
you set it on there. No throw, no nothing. You just set it right on the pole and just let it drop right down.
And that was, that by the way, that video was pilot Bruce Byberg.
Yes. And appreciate them sharing that video with us to be able to show that to you. So what you were talking about is Zarek Wells was coming in. He had a very similar line to Bruce that we just saw. And I called it from out there. I said, we got to watch Zarek coming in because he's got a great line on this pole.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just said, of course, I probably just jinxed it because, you know, things just change and you drift off ever so slightly and you miss.
Yes.
Zarek comes right up. He's almost exactly the same kind of position on that pole, and he reaches down to set the ring down, and it bounced off. And, of course, I had said I probably jinxed him, and sure enough, that's exactly what happened.
Yep.
So when we came back to the studio last night, the set was just covered with guilty trading cards.
Because you were guilty.
No, he's guilty.
No,
I just called it as it is.
No, you were guilty. You jinxed him.
I did.
If you'd have kept your mouth shut, he probably would have won $1,000.
Yeah.
So you should be writing him a check as we're speaking right now. Just go ahead and pay up.
Zarek's doing actually very well in the overall competition. The polls is its own little separate competition, as is the Sid Cutter Memorial that we did on Monday.
Right.
All of the other targets, the Gordon Bennett Memorial that we did.
Multiple judge declared goals we've run.
And technically yesterday's was called a multiple Fiesta declared goal. So, yeah.
Okay.
Judge Fiesta.
Yeah.
I just kind of looked at it. Okay.
Okay.
But technically that's what they called it yesterday, was a Fiesta one. It's exactly the same as a multiple judge declared goal.
Yeah. And by the way, Travis Mathis sent me that video of Bruce on the pole, and then obviously we've shown it to you. So thank you, Travis, for bringing that to our attention.
So we do see that our Dawn Patrol flight team is pretty much cold inflated. I've been hearing them say on the radio that they're cold packed and ready to stand up, waiting for the last ones of those. They don't do the coordinated, well, they do coordinate, but they don't do the whole show with all of us. They just kind of do the Dawn Patrol thing, and here they go with the little flickers.
Interesting thing about watching the comments on our various video feeds, I'm looking at our Facebook feed, and one person saying good morning from Arizona and another person saying good evening from Japan.
Hey, we're hearing from Belgium and Newport News, Virginia. New Zealand is checking in. Liberty, South Carolina. Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan.
I've got, let's see, North Dakota, Newtown, North Dakota.
Fort Wayne, Indiana. Boise, Idaho.
Pennsylvania.
The Netherlands.
Woodward, Oklahoma. As I said, Japan.
Farnborough, England.
Tampa, Florida has checked in.
Riska is here in Albuquerque.
Brooklyn, New York.
Ottawa, Kansas. Cumming, Georgia. Blackwood, Wales, UK. Michigan. Atkins, Texas. Hudson, Florida. Say hi to Hamlet for me. All right, Nancy.
Austin, Texas says hook 'em horns. You bet. Yeah, lots of folks out there. My cats are up and active too. My pet camera keeps sending me motion alerts. Yeah, so Ranger and Bonnie are up and moving about this morning. Columbus, South Carolina. Shiner, Texas. Minneapolis checking in. Batesville, Arkansas. Southern Illinois. Alberta, Canada. Good morning from Liberty Hill, Texas.
Thanks to all of you for joining us online. Be sure and share this out with all of your friends and neighbors. And if you missed anything this week, want to go back and see any of the competition that we've just kind of talked about, all those shows are archived. The simplest way to see them, I mean, you can see them on Facebook or YouTube. A simple way to be able to pick and choose easily, I think, just go to balloonfiesta.com, click on Balloon Fiesta Live. All the shows are linked there.
And Colin Wright checking in from merry old England, from London, England. Good morning, Colin.
Greenville,
Nice to have
South
you
Carolina is awake, as is Connecticut.
And, of course, as soon as I said there was a hook 'em horns, now we've got someone saying hello from Katy. We just returned from Fiesta. So amazing. Giga Maggies.
Auburn.
And there's the first all burn from our Dawn Patrol flight team.
Yep. Another person checking in from Cornwall, UK, Long Island, New York,
right.
Kansas City. So the world is waking up to Balloon Fiesta.
City. Kansas City, here I come.
Yeah. Wausau, Wisconsin.
Ann Arbor, Michigan, and South Dakota as well.
Rochester, Minnesota. Good morning from Pembine. Is that the way you say that? Wisconsin?
Could be, I don't know.
Moved up there from Moriarty, just around the corner of the mountains.
Just the other side of the mountains, you
Yep.
bet.
Fort Wayne, Indiana. Arkansas. Let's see.
Dawn Patrol, let's give a flicker. 3,
Lawrenceburg, New York. Here comes a flicker burn
1,
from the Dawn Patrol
flicker.
team. Taylorsville, Utah. Haven't seen many people checking in from Utah. It's good to know. Southern California.
A very good early morning to Southern California, as
our
opposed
friend,
to the
yeah.
afternoon to all the folks the other direction.
I made the comment the world is waking up to Balloon Fiesta, and Malcolm White, who's over in Ireland, says, waking up, the day is half over. Well, for you maybe, Malcolm, not for us.
Well, maybe they're waking up from their midday nap.
I was going to say, some of us don't wake up till midday normally anyway, so yeah.
Yep. That is one thing that when
Adelaide, Australia checking in.
Cool.
Down under, cool.
Everybody ready for an
Yeah.
Auburn?
so we start to try and work naps in the middle of the day during the week.
Yeah. Oh, look at that shot. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. All in a line there, the Dawn Patrol flight.
It is dead calm here on the field at the moment.
Well, that's good.
55.8 degrees, 0 winds out of the southwest. How do you have 0 mile-an-hour winds out of a direction?
I don't know. Had to think about that for a moment, and I
That's
don't have much gray matter left, and what is left doesn't really work very well anymore. But no, I don't know.
You know, a wind director indicator has to point some way. It can't just not point somewhere. It just doesn't move from what it was before.
All right, Dawn Patrol, let's give a flicker.
Yeah, good
3,
afternoon.
2, 1,
Adam
flicker.
Bennell checking in from, or is that Benelli? Let me look at my phone a little closer so I can read. Bennell checking in from Bristol in the UK, wishing they were here with Roger the Panther. Plano, Texas, one of my old stomping grounds, checking in. Camden, Maine.
Sugarland, Texas. Another one from Connecticut, watching for Gusty Guppy.
There was a fun movie made one year, many years ago now, called Sugarland.
Another Netherlands, also in from Clovis.
Burlington, North Carolina. Chicago, Illinois.
Shout out from Watrous, New Mexico. Flemington, New Jersey. And Frederick, Maryland.
Alabama. Those of you in Chicagoland have sadly lost a really wonderful balloon event. The Lyle Eyes to the Skies Balloon Festival announced this year that it will no longer take place, which is a shame. COVID kind of took it out of the took all the wind out of their balloons, or the hot air out of their balloons, I guess. And I just took all the hot
just
air
heard
out of my
from
feet.
heard on the radio for our Dawn Patrol flight this morning that they're going to do another all burn, and then he said they're going to walk out. So the idea, that means they're going to set up, they're going to do another one of those simultaneous launches.
Oh,
Normally
okay.
we launch one balloon at a time. We start in the middle, we start on the outsides, but they're going to do another one of those simultaneous launches. So they'll split the balloons up just a little bit, because as you can see, they're all touching right at the moment. They want to put just a little bit of space
Right.
between them. And then the idea with the simultaneous launch is they all go off the ground at the same time, as you might expect, but then stay together in a pack, almost formation flying, if you will.
As much as they can, and they should be
Yep.
able to do that very well today, given that there are 0 mile per hour winds. From
But you have to pay attention not only to your flying now, but to how everybody else is flying. And since when you burn, there's a few second delay before your balloon responds, you really have to be paying attention to each other so that you're doing the same thing in anticipation of what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
They're starting to
There we
walk
go.
the few out. And we should be able to see that synchronized launch here momentarily.
Natchitoches, Louisiana, checking in, home of the Steel Magnolias movie. That's correct. Natchitoches, a little south of where I live in Keithville, Louisiana.
And of course, we continue to monitor pilots briefing as well, so that when we get to the weather segment, we'll check in with them and figure out what they're telling the pilots what they can expect today. Of course, we've already tipped you off as to what they're going to hear.
Yeah, Mike Macaluso, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Mike says, we'll miss the Lyle event. It was always great to hear your voice there. Thank you, Mike. It was great to be associated with that event for more than 25 years, and always enjoyed my annual summer July 4th trip
Let's do one more
up to Chicagoland in Lyle, Illinois.
One more all bird. 3, 2, 1, all.
Since it's so calm here, that just looks so great.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Even the video looks like a still picture.
Yep, and when they get up in the air, it's going to be really pretty.
It is.
We had some great pictures yesterday because they, of course, came right over the top of the rooftop studio in a bunch. I don't think we'll see that this morning, probably. Western Australia, Tampa, Florida, says hello. Sarasota, Florida.
This is Mike. One balloon is buoyant.
So we're going to watch the synchronization launch here, but we're going to check in with the audio going on over at pilots briefing.
That is going to be weakening with time, and so we're looking at changing conditions through the morning hours. So I'll explain that and how that's going to work through the flight window. With that low pressure system to our north and west, you can see that we've had a fair amount of mid and high level clouds. What the net result is that our drainage, especially here locally around Balloon Fiesta Park, is not as strong as what it has been much of the week. So that's going to change the surface conditions for what we're typically expecting. So for this morning, I'll start at Sunport. Temperature is 55 degrees, dew point of 37, relative humidity of 51%, sorry. Barometric pressure is 30.21 inches of mercury, and the wind is out of the southeast, so 160 at 4 knots. Over at Double Eagle, it's 10 degrees colder, so temperature of 46, dew point of 34, relative humidity 61%. Barometric pressure is 30.23 inches of mercury, and because it's so much colder over there, I think that's why they have a northwest wind, so their wind is 310 at 5 knots over there. So here you can see that generally temperatures are running in the mid-50s, but we do have those colder pockets out there, and that's where you'll start to see those northwest winds. So what we have is this. In the near surface layer, it's going to be a prevailing light south to north direction. So given that the prevailing wind is going to be out of the south, you may want to change your layout conditions, that sort of thing. I will say, though, it's going to be light. So you can see the balloons, Dawn Patrol are moving now, probably in the neighborhood of 2 to 3 knots. So it's going to be a slow push. But if you look at the profiler, and you can see it's already starting to change. So you've got lots of light and variable conditions in the lowest 1,500 feet. So given that that's the case, you can steer, especially earlier on through the flight window, you can steer to pretty much anywhere you want to go, I think, in the lowest 1,500 to 2,000 feet. Here's where it gets kind of cool for the early pilots. If you get up to around 2,000 to 2,500 feet, you notice that you have a wind out of the north going to the south. So it's actually a reverse box. So instead of going south to north on the surface, you're going south. You're going south. Instead of going north to south on the surface, you're going south to north on the surface, and aloft you can box back from the north. But with time, that north should go away. So we'll call that 2,000 to 2,500 foot layer a bonus layer. For the early pilots that get up, they will have the bonus. For the later pilots, don't plan on it. Above that, you can see that westerly wind prevails. And basically, with time, we're expecting that westerly wind to build down toward the surface to about 2,000 feet or so. The near surface layer should start to increase after 10 o'clock this morning and become gusty after noon. So that's the expectations. In terms of the TAFs, let's see here. Albuquerque Sunport is 160 at 6 knots, visibility of greater than 6 miles, broken 20,000 feet, and that carries till 1 o'clock this afternoon. And then at Double Eagle, they're calling for a wind out of the north, 360 at 6 knots, 6 miles visibility, broken 20,000 feet, and that carries through noon. I don't think you'll see a northwest wind prevail through noon, but I do think as long as it stays cool there, you'll probably have a north wind. But then as we start to warm up, say 10 degrees, so that would probably happen in the 8, 9 o'clock time frame, you'll probably start to develop that southerly flow there as well. Okay, so with that, Robert did run a pie ball, and I'll give you some heights on that as well, so you can just verify that with the profiler. But like I said, it's really light and variable in the near surface layer, so use the profiler data, and you're going to be able to steer, especially early, pretty much anywhere you want to go. So let's start. 100 feet was 260 at 2 knots. 100 feet is 260 at 2 knots. 500 feet is 150 at 5 knots, 150 at 5. 900 feet is 150 at 6 knots, 150 at 6. 1,300 is 45 degrees at a half a knot, 45 degrees at a half a knot. 1,500 feet is 326 at 5 knots, 326 at 5. 1,900 feet is 324 at 7 knots, sorry, 324 at 7 knots. Let's see here, 2,100 feet is 205 at 6 knots, 205 degrees at 6 knots. 2,500 feet is 305 at 7 knots, 305 at 7. 3,000 feet is 260 at 4 knots, 260 at 4. 3,500 feet is 240 at 11 knots, 240 at 11. And 4,000 feet is 250 at 12 knots. So I think the most consistent winds in the near surface layer are going to be the winds out of the south going to the north. But you're going to have some variations in that, especially above in that 5 to 1,500 foot layer. There's going to be a lot of different steerability there. Above it, you're going to have that westerly wind building down from aloft, and that's going to get more and more consistent with time. Okay, for my weather helper this morning, I have Brooke Nutting, and she is in the back of the podium here. Do I have any launch directors in the area to give Brooke permission to launch? Great job. All right.
So we heard the weather.
Yeah, which direction do you want to go?
Wow. 45, a bunch of 300s, a bunch of 200s,
a bunch of 150s.
And those are compass directions, and
Right.
that's the direction the wind will be coming from.
Yes, so the wind will be going, if the wind is coming from 150, you add 180 to that, so you would be going 330, if
Yes.
my math is correct.
Which is kind of to the northwest.
Kind of to the northwest,
The
yes.
45 means you're going to be going 270, which means you'll be going to the west.
Yeah.
What we didn't hear a whole lot of was kind of the really high 330s and the low numbers.
Right.
So there's not a lot of north coming back that we heard in those layers.
Well, in his very opening remarks,
Brad,
thank you. Jeez, it's been a long week. Brad did comment that the north drainage winds that are usually so prevalent here were not nearly so strong this morning. And that's why we have really a surface flow that is southerly from the south as opposed to what we normally have from the north.
well, and we've watched the Dawn Patrol flight here about 10 or 15 feet off the ground. They were drifting a little bit to the east. Then they got up about 50 feet, maybe 100 feet, and they started drifting to the west. Now that they're up a few hundred feet, they're not going
northwest-
anywhere.
Well, yeah, but
Maybe a
they
little
have pushed
northwest.
a little to the northwest, yeah. But, so it's going to make for an interesting morning.
I think we'll see competitors, if this holds throughout the competitive window, I think we're going to see them coming in from every direction.
Possibly, but, Brad was saying that a lot of these directions were going to dissipate later into the morning, that there was some steerable direction that would be available to the early balloons launching, but the later balloons would not. He also mentioned there's a westerly component that's going to get stronger through the morning, west-northwesterly. So we may see a number of the competitors coming in from the east again, from over in the foothills.
Could be.
To the east.
And then when they get down on the field, it sounded like that light variable stuff was going to hang around.
Which then will make scoring really a lot of fun because the balloons will just drop into the field and kind of hang around.
Yeah.
So that could be fun.
And depending on the time you drop in, there might be a little drift this way or a little drift that way and a whole lot of maneuvering and, let me go up 10 feet. Let me drop 10 feet to see if I can make that change. So it's going to be an interesting, challenging, and exciting morning for competition here at the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. And you will see it all live right here on Balloon Fiesta Live, powered by Exxon Mobil.
Barbara Burrows has just checked in, says hello from Hazel Green, Wisconsin. She works for Lindstrand Balloons at their factory in Galena, and says she'll be here next year for the 50th anniversary. So
she was online yesterday, Asar. You bet.
Look forward to having you join us. Good morning from Phoenix, Arizona.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Cindy Krieger says, love Dawn Patrol. Isn't it something spectacular? Those guys do a great job. Guys and men and women do a great job with Dawn Patrol. I've only flown Dawn Patrol once. Years ago, there was an event up in Danville, Illinois. The great, I forget the official name of the event. Someone will remind me of it. But they actually ran a Dawn Patrol competition for a couple of years where the balloons launched as a Dawn Patrol and then flew to a target. And one of those years I was lucky enough to fly with one of the other pilots in the event. And that was really kind of amazing to launch in the darkness and fly through the sunrise and then come upon a target and drop a marker.
That would be cool.
That was a lot of fun, yeah.
I actually got to fly in a balloon during Dawn Patrol. I wasn't actually the pilot, but
I wasn't either. I was just
it's really incredible to be up there and see it's dark. You see all the lights of the city, and then as the sun comes up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that event in Danville was really quite innovative. The other thing they did that was really spectacular is for a few years we had an event called Night Riders. And the event took place at the big regional airport there, so it was wide open space. And so we would send a select group of balloons out a mile and a half away, and they would inflate and fly in, just as our competitors will do later this morning.
Sure.
But it was all done at night.
Ooh.
After dark. And it was just the most amazing thing to see. I've still got a couple of those pins. The event was called the Night Riders.
That would be neat.
We did a lot of innovative things, or innovative, as they would say overseas. At the it was the Oldsmobile Balloon Classic was the name of the event, and another one of the great balloon events that is now part of our history, but always did some fun things up there. Good times there.
One of our local radio stations has their morning team out here this morning, and they're checking in and watching us on Facebook as well. Good morning, Carlos and Kiki. Glad to have you along. And then Joshua says he's come up with a new name for Albuquerque.
Yeah?
Yeah, he wants to call it, let me find exactly how he put it here, Hot Air Balloon City.
Okay.
Okay. Joshua, thanks for that. We're already the hot air balloon capital of the world.
Yeah, and isn't the city sometimes referred to as the Duke City?
Duke City. Albuquerque was named for the Duke of Albuquerque from Spain.
Okay.
The Duke of Albuquerque. In fact, it was more like Albuquerque because there was an extra R in the Duke's name, and somewhere along the line,
Albuquerque.
Somewhere along the line, that extra R got dropped. There's a story behind that. I just don't remember it.
Well, the spelling is already crazy enough, so who needs an extra R?
You'd be surprised how many people put that in there. But yes,
really?
The spellings of the spellings of Albuquerque are always interesting to watch and to see.
A lot of Florida folks checking in today. Ocala, Florida, and another from Honeybrook, Pennsylvania. Lots of places I've never heard of. You get a good geography lesson watching Balloon Fiesta Live.
That's right.
Cedarburg, Wisconsin, Rochester, Minnesota, Omaha, Nebraska. Made famous, of course, by Peyton Manning and his audibles. Omaha. So
Brittany's asking if we got a chance to say hello to Greg and the Monty crew. We saw him last night at our Glodio, and all of a sudden he popped up on our feed,
Yeah,
so
we
we
were
just
wondering
kind of
if
went
they were
crazy
even here
here.
yet, and all of a sudden he popped up. So hoping to see them again this morning. Been talking with them for several days leading up to Balloon Fiesta, messaging back and forth.
Walla Walla, Washington's in the house.
Palm Harbor, Florida.
Northville, Michigan. Other folks checking in with the Monty, the black sheep.
Yeah.
So one of our Dawn Patrol balloons has come back over the field.
Oh, Doris. Checked in from Carrollton, Texas. I used to live in Carrollton, Texas. Great little city in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Moved there in 1981 and moved out from there to Plano, and then from Plano out to Roseville, California for the 5 years that I was editor at Balloon Life magazine out in the Sacramento, Northern California area. Hello from Australia. Hello, James. Good morning, good afternoon, good day, I guess would be the thing to say.
Pueblo, Colorado checking in this morning.
North Augusta, South Carolina. Stephanie Spiker checking in from Longview, Texas. Good morning.
New Zealand says it's now 1:30 in the morning where they are. Time for bed.
Oh, I guess.
And Florida is checking in as well.
Neil Santa Cruz watching from work south of Alameda. Okay. Well, nothing wrong with that. If you can't be at the field, might as well watch.
Just behind the banner here.
Yeah, just behind the banner. He's backstage almost.
Almost.
Yeah. Amarillo, Texas.
Check his pass.
I'll be passing through Amarillo on Monday morning on my way back home. Minneapolis.
Amarillo by morning.
That's right. Wheeler, Texas.
So
Mark
after
Bassan,
doing-
good afternoon, Glen and Art. Good afternoon, Mark, to you over in the UK. Hope we see you here next year for our 50th.
So after getting up at dark 30
Yes.
for 9 days,
Yes.
what happens on Monday? Do you sleep in or do you still wake up out of habit?
Yeah. I try to sleep in if I can, but typically I'll wake up early. Maybe not at 03:30,
Right.
like I did this morning. But in fact, I was thinking about that driving in this morning because I was checking my pet monitor and my cats are up and active. And normally at home I tend to sleep in. I work late at night, usually at home, and then tend to sleep late in the morning, as all of my local balloon friends will tell you. And but Bonnie and Ranger, the cats, bingo, love to try to wake me up about 6 a.m. They're ready for treats.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking for the next week or so, they're probably going to be really proud of me because I probably will be
You'll be up and on time.
up and on time as far as they're concerned. I'll be on cat time for the next week or two. But no, I've got a long drive home, and so I do try to get up and get a fairly early start Monday morning. But if I leave the hotel between 8 and 9, that's early.
You'll still make Amarillo by morning.
I will make Amarillo by morning, and I won't be, but I won't be getting up at dark 30. I hope.
We've been waking up before the alarm every day this last couple of days.
I think only once this week have I actually slept right up to the alarm.
Yeah.
Every other time. Now, sometimes in the afternoon, between these morning sessions and the evening sessions, I'll go back and try to grab a nap, and sometimes then I'll sleep, up to the alarm.
That alarm, yeah.
But yeah, the early morning alarm only once this week has it awakened me. The other times, I've been awake before then, which is always kind of a, oh man, are you kidding me? I'm up 30 minutes early. What's going on here? But yeah, you stay on which is actually good because 2 weekends after this event, I've got another event to do in just outside of San Antonio in a little town called Shirts, Texas, and so I'll need to be on balloon time, obviously, for that event.
For a little bit as well, yep.
Yeah, so it's a good thing that kind of, getting up at dark 30 out here kind of carries over for a couple of weeks, and then I generally get back to my routine of sleeping in and watching the sunsets instead of the sunrises.
So we do have a balloon standing up on the field with the Albertsons banner. I believe that's Fred Dinkler in his balloon carried away. That
hi,
would be
Fred.
that would be the balloon of the day, the one
excellent.
who carries the flag out. There he is lighting up for us.
Fred is the IT person for the Balloon Federation of America. He and Dean Carlton keep our website running and our BFA.net webmail system operational. So a great volunteer for the Balloon Federation is Mr. Dinkler.
And something we haven't talked about this week, and that is that the Balloon Fiesta holds a photo contest every year with some nice prizes as well. Our photo contest sponsored by Acima this year. Glad to have them on board as a sponsor. And the photo contest is officially open and underway. All you have to do to submit your photos to the photo contest, head over to our website, balloonfiesta.com. Go down under this year's events and look for photos in the photo contest. All the rules, regulations, prizes, and entry forms are right there. It is online entry, so you're going to want to go check all that out. Again, the photo contest underway. You could win some great prizes from Balloon Fiesta and our photo contest sponsor, Acima. I'm seeing the chase crew truck red lights heading out the north end of the field here, so pilot's briefing must be over, and now it's time for those guys to go say, where do I take off to get back to the field?
That will be the competitor balloons that today have to go out, find a launch site, and then later this morning they will fly in. And that will come after we have our Shapes launch, our Shapes Rodeo, and all of our non-competitive or Fiesta flyers, as we like to refer to them, they will launch off the field. And so once all of that has taken place, this is another of those days where we kind of call it a double launch or a double flight day, because we have a huge number of balloons that will launch here, or inflate here, launch and fly away. And then once that's done, the focus will shift to our competitive pilots who are outside of Balloon Fiesta Park. And
have to be a mile away when they
launch. At least a mile away, and inflate and fly in. I almost said out with, which is a word that you hear over in the UK a lot, but you don't.
As opposed to out back?
Well,
which you hear down under?
Out back is down under, but out with is the same as we would say, is outside of, or if you would say, someone would say, where are you? Well, I'm just outside the gate here at Fiesta Park. And someone from the UK might say, out with, or they'll refer to a place and saying, well, it's out with of England, or it's out with of Ireland or Scotland or wherever, any of the UK countries. A term I never heard until I started visiting over there.
Sure.
But it's a very common word over there. So once again, proof that we are, two people separated by a common language.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, hi to the folks in the Gondola Club down there this morning. I understand that you're watching on our feed as well as listening to us on the PA.
Well, and we know some folks over at the museum are watching us as well.
Yep.
On the feed there.
So we're getting some great views around the world on all of our feeds, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, balloonfiesta.com, over Low Power TV channel 28 around the park, and we're being picked up by channel 20.2 KNMQ all over the Albuquerque area over the air as well.
Samantha was asking, Samantha Tennant asking, so they are drifting north? Yes, generally, Samantha, north and a bit west. More northwest, I would say, than directly north. Directly north would take us right up over the Indian Pueblo, and Dawn Patrol, at least, it looks like they're going more in a northwesterly
until you go high. There's four of them that are now east of the field.
Yeah, you're right. I can see
there's
at least one of them almost
at least
directly
four
overhead.
of them up there.
Oh, there's a couple more. I can see the silhouettes. So, it does depend on, there are four of them up there. It does depend on your altitude.
This is not so much a box as it is a mixing bowl today.
Yeah, that's a good term for it. The Albuquerque Mixing Bowl. We should copyright that quickly.
Exactly. Someone will grab it. The Albuquerque Mixing Bowl. That's what I think we're going to have today.
I think so. I think it's going to be an interesting flight this morning. And there's one of the Dawn Patrol team coming back now east to west. See him right out over the, right over Main Street at the northeast corner.
Yeah, actually two of them,
field.
because Floating Oasis and Greg Lindsay is just a little bit farther out. But yeah, they're just coming right back over
So, yeah, very much. Yep, here's.
That would be almost an east-west box, but we saw north in there, so there's your mixing bowl effect.
Yep, here comes the second one following that first balloon in from the east to the west up at the northeast corner of the park. So,
There's Floating Oasis on our screen.
Yeah. Floating Oasis.
Oasis. With the palm tree on this
tree,
side
yeah.
and other
looks like
Oasis.
Well, it looks like, I guess, a backdrop that reminds me of Monument Valley, just a bit.
I don't remember where. I thought Greg was from Arizona.
Jim Engel, we can talk a little
Yeah, Safford, Arizona.
Ballooning 101. Jim is asking, can you explain the, oops, my screen just faded, bring that back up. Can you explain the typical temp pilots monitor at the top of their balloons? What is the high temp they are comfortable with? Well, most hot air balloons have a red line or a do not exceed temperature of 250 degrees Fahrenheit. And so that's the temperature of the pilot's monitor. It's the heat of the air inside the balloon. And what's the temperature most of them are comfortable with? Well, generally anything that's below that, you never really want to over temp the balloon, because you can eventually, if you do that enough, you can damage the fabric.
Shortens the life of the balloon.
Shortens the life of the balloon, exactly. But yeah, I don't know if there's a specific temperature that, you know, any given pilot would be comfortable or uncomfortable at any different level. Some pilots will fly near red line all the time.
All the time.
Other pilots will try and fly the balloon as cool as they can. And that has to do with the altitude you're flying at, how much weight you're carrying, what the ambient temperature of the day is. I can remember flying in Mesquite, Texas in summer when the ambient temperature was near 100 degrees, and it took every bit of the 250 degree line that you had in the balloon to get airborne and just fly. And then on a morning like here, or on a winter morning when it might be, let's say, 40 degrees out, you know, you can get in the air with your balloon at you know, 100, 110, 120 degrees and fly the whole flight that way.
I usually tell folks that kind of a good rule of thumb for an average loaded balloon is that the envelope temperature will be about 100 degrees warmer than the ambient temperature. Yeah, that's just kind of a good round number.
That is true.
Yeah.
So if it's 40 degrees out on a cool morning, you'll be flying at around 140 degrees. If it's, like I was saying, in Texas, 100 degrees in the
now
evening,
that puts you starting at 200.
Then you're starting at 200. And if you're going to maneuver at all, you're going to be inching right up toward, if not exceeding, that red line of 250.
Exactly.
Now, to be fair, there is a manufacturer that I'm assuming that Firefly Balloon still has a 300 degree red line, and because their aircraft are built primarily, their aircraft are built out of polyester as opposed to nylon, which so many of the other manufacturers use. So they have a slightly higher red or do not exceed temperature of 300 degrees. But the vast majority of the balloons do have a 250 degree red line. Now, in the UK and other places, that's a number in Celsius that I don't even know. But
while there is a temperature sensor up there that the pilot is monitoring throughout the flight, as was referenced by the question here, most of the balloons also have a little tab up there, so that if you do exceed that, normally they even have it at the 225, so you know you were getting close.
Right.
And then 250, and then even 275 if you. And it just turns colors once it gets to that. It turns black.
It darkens. It turns black. It's a little tab, a fabric tab with some little clear panels in it.
Yep.
And at various heat, like it'll start sometimes at like 225, 250, whatever, or even sometimes 200. And every time you do an annual inspection, you can check that and you can see what the highest temperature you've had the envelope to.
Yeah, if you've tripped that particular level, yeah.
The other fun thing that balloons used to have, I know it scared the bejeebers out of me the first time it happened to me in my Thunder and Colt, my original balloon. It was a heat flag. It was a little metal ring, you know, a little small washer essentially that had a bit of fabric streamer tied to it, a little bit like the markers that we throw.
Yeah.
And it was connected up to the top of the balloons. And if you over-temped the balloon, it would break loose and fall down into the
Hit you on the head. You're flying too hot,
hey, dummy. Yeah. I don't think many balloons use those anymore.
I've never seen those.
Yeah. Thunder and Colts had them, and it used to be fun when you would see one of those come loose and and suddenly, come flittering down through the envelope and into the bat. Hopefully not on top of the burners.
Yeah, not while you're burning and it hits
exactly.
that.
Yeah. But so 250, depending on manufacturer, 250 or 300 is the red line, the do not exceed. Now, there is, of course, a safety margin built into that. It doesn't mean like if you actually hit 250 degrees, the balloon suddenly just melts away and you're in trouble.
It's an overtime.
It's an overtime type thing, so there is a safety factor there. But 250 or 300, depending on your manufacturer, is the do not exceed temperature that you really should try never to get your balloon to that level. So hopefully that explains that, Jim. Thanks for the question. Ruth has one of our many officials that are involved in our day-to-day activities available for an interview down on the field. So, Ruth, we'll pitch it down to you, my friend.
Thank you, Glenn. I'm down here with Damian Duran Arias. He's the field manager here. This is his first Fiesta on the job, and he has a huge role making all of our Fiesta experience the best it can be. Now, we're talking about waste management, lights, all of the things around the facilities. Damian, what's your biggest challenge been this year?
Right now, it's been competition setup, trying to get through the crowds and just people control.
That, I'm sure that's a big job. One of the things somebody was asking me about earlier this morning is waste management. What kind of a project is that to make sure everybody's not only trash, but all of the other waste management details are taken care of? Tell me about that a little bit.
We actually have a contractor who is assigned to pick up all the trash throughout the field, and they go through the waste management to supply them the dumpsters, the roll-offs, and then AAA is involved with all the grease pumping and the porta potties, and that's covers about most of it.
I don't even want to know how big the budget is for all that. It must be huge. When do you start getting the field ready for Fiesta?
The day after Labor Day.
So that's a huge job. And how long will it take you to put everything away when we're done?
It takes about a whole month.
A whole month. Well, Damian, my hat's off to you. You're doing a great job this year. Things are looking wonderful. And thank you for spending time with us this morning.
Thank you.
Glenn, Art, back to you.
Damian doing a great job for us here. He's the new Field Services Operation Director. I'm not sure exactly the wording of the title, but works for Fiesta all year long. Great guy to work with, and he's really stepped up and pulled everything together for us. And Labor Day was late this year. Balloon Fiesta was early on the calendar.
Yeah.
So Labor Day was about as late as it could be, and Balloon Fiesta started about as early as it can be in October. So we were, in effect, had 1 week less time to set the field up this year than we have on any other year. And after having a year off, it was a lot of scramble to be able to pull everything together this year. And Damian managed to pull it off. Good job, my friend.
Just wanted to mention, we were just talking about those temp flags with regard to maximum temperature, and one of our audience on the Facebook feed said that Kubitschek balloons still uses temp flags.
Okay.
They still have temp flags. So there you go.
All right, so it's still out there.
Yeah.
And it's in Kubitscheks.
It's not as antiquated a bit of technology as I thought it was.
No.
How about that?
So Kubitschek on the front end of being able to print designs on fabric and turn into balloons.
They do the beautiful fractal balloons. They've done the gorgeous Cameron wall balloon we've talked about with his grandmother's artwork using a photographic printing process to print images onto white balloon fabric and then construct the balloon in normal routine. Speaking of constructing a balloon,
that was my line.
Sorry. It'll be interesting to check in tomorrow to see how the Cameron team are doing, because they are building a balloon right here on site during Balloon Fiesta over in the Sid Cutter Pavilion.
They are. And if you're here on the field, you can just walk by the east side of the Sid Cutter Pavilion, look in through the windows there, and see the industrial sewing machines.
You can stalk them.
Just spy right in there. And when I was in there the other day, it was not quite so many, lots of little pieces. It's starting to come together as all
panels are being sewn into gores, et cetera.
They were early on in the week. They were working on what appeared to be logos and design elements, and they were starting to put those together, and so that gets into a bigger panel. The panels get sewn into gores, which starts turning into an entire balloon.
Yeah.
The idea is that we will plan to reveal that balloon and all the other details about it Saturday or Sunday this week. We're still looking at what's going to go on. So you will actually see the finished product at the end of the week.
Oh, that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
And all the secrets will be revealed then. So you'll want to be tuning in and or being here for the end of the week. So we're about 10 minutes away from our national anthem and the liftoff of our balloon of the day. We are seeing other balloons start to inflate. These would be our ride balloons, our Rainbow Riders balloons, and their subcontractors. So we're definitely moving forward. I see a lot more burners being hooked up and tested and pressurized. So we are definitely in for, I think, a really great day and lots of steerage up in the sky. So we're going to see balloons everywhere. There's
our Balloon Fiesta Live balloon team going to work.
Those guys put the basket on wheels.
Why not?
Yeah.
Make it easy on yourself.
So Tristan McLean and his hot minute or hot moment balloon. We'll just call it the ExxonMobil balloon.
Yeah,
that's easier.
That way we know we're right.
Yeah. And I think we should be able to have a camera in that balloon today. It'll be a great day for it, as we've said, with balloons not going anywhere very fast, kind of hanging around. The competitors probably wish there was a little bit more speed to be able to move and get places.
Well, I did watch
as
a couple of those Dawn Patrol balloons were moving from east to west.
Yeah.
And the layer they were at, just a few hundred feet up, there was, there was some decent speed. They were not slow. It wasn't rip-roaring fast, but enough speed to take across the field in a matter of a minute or two, a couple of minutes.
And the wind has really picked up here on the rooftop studio. It's gone all the way from 0 to 1 mile an hour.
You're talking about our ExxonMobil team having the basket on wheels. Years ago, a dear friend, Dr. Henry McDonald out in Texas, he built what we called the rolling condo, his trailer. He actually had wheeled tracks that mounted into the floor of his trailer, so that when you slid it up the door, you slid it on those tracks, and then you just pushed it and it slid. It just rolled right up to the front of the trailer. And he had a rack to hang champagne glasses and chairs.
Oh, wow.
It had a pull-out canopy, and that's why we called it the rolling condo. Dr. Mack was a surgeon and a balloonist and a vintner. I had his own wine. I still have a bottle of Chateau Montgolfier wine at home. And it's probably, vinegar by now, but he won a number of awards back in the day. This is back in the mid to late 80s. So there's all kinds of innovations or innovative things that you can do to make crewing easier. We saw a couple of the balloons earlier this week that had their envelopes in a big rolling bucket.
There's more and more of those,
box.
Especially the big special shapes.
Yeah, especially the big special shapes, because they could weigh several hundred pounds and need 8 or 10 people to carry them and move them around. So putting them in a rolling cart of some sort makes a lot of sense. There go the double burners on top of our ExxonMobil balloon. The uprights are in position.
They'll hook the cables through the carabiners and connect the burners to the propane tanks.
And the music goes round and round.
And the balloon goes up and down.
Yes, it does. Seeing a little bit of sunlight in the sky is lightening now.
Some nice orange out there in the clouds.
Yeah, with the sunlight hitting the clouds that are off in the distance. No clouds overhead, clear blue sky. Looks like another Chamber of Commerce morning shaping up for us. But there are some high clouds out to the far north and west of us. North and east, actually.
Enough to put some color in the sky.
Yeah. We really haven't had one of those days yet, though, where you have what I call the cotton candy clouds, the little light cumulus clouds. The sun comes up and lights the bottom of them, and they turn a really nice orangey pink and look like little tufts of cotton candy up in the sky. We haven't seen a morning like that yet. That's always a pretty morning for pictures
More
when we do
stratus
see it.
clouds this year.
Yeah, yeah.
The flat ones. There's a view down of the field with our balloon of the day from our Main Street stage camera.
And you know what that little tent is called? There's a term for it.
Well, I would call it the
little tent.
the audio tent, because that's where they run the audio for the Main Street stage.
That's true. That's where they run the audio. At every concert you go to, there will be a place where they set up and run all the audio boards, do all the mixing. That in the business is called the front house.
The front house.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Yep.
And here's the shot looking the other way.
There's
so
the
there's
main
our
stage.
and our scissor lift,
And our
which was just
cameraman,
providing that shot.
waving once again.
There he is.
I don't know who that is. It's on camera 5, I think we figured that is. But, that's camera 1. Travis Lytle is there. And Travis has gotten almost as much camera time this week as we have, I think.
He sure has. And the bright white spot right next to it is one of our great video boards down there, also sponsored by ExxonMobil. So on our camera, that shows front of house. Our audio guy is correcting us. Front of house.
Thank you.
And so our big video walls out there that are providing our Balloon Fiesta Live signal to those around the Main Street stage. And we're getting very close now to the launch of our balloon of the day with our national anthem. Albertsons is
Turn
the
my
sponsor.
mic back on.
Yes.
Albertsons is the balloon of the day with Fred Dinkler flying?
Yes.
Yep, okay.
And David Bueller, our audio guy, says that it is called the front of the house, or front of house.
Okay, well, I won't argue with that. I've just always heard it referred to as front house.
Yep.
But, yeah, so just, again, we always try to be informative here on Balloon Fiesta Live. So you can walk away and having learned something. We've talked, temp flags and now audio production front of the house.
And as we're looking at the basket with the burners of our ExxonMobil balloon, right behind it is one of our 75-foot tall pylons. There is one of those in every corner, so all 4 corners of the field. It is a visual indicator of 75 feet above the ground.
That's right.
Which is how high our balloons need to be as they come in and out of the field.
Right, yeah. Once they get inside, when we have the field flagged off for scoring, once they get inside that flagged area, they can come right down to the deck if they want to. But the FAA requires certain flight restrictions and minimum altitudes. And for safety purposes, 75 feet has been established as the minimum height that a balloon can be over the crowd here at Balloon Fiesta Park. And those pylons are located in each corner of the field so that it gives pilots a visual reference as to whether they're high enough or if they're too low. If you're passing by and your basket's below the top of that pylon, then you need to gain a little bit of altitude.
And there is penalties in the competition for violating those minimum altitudes.
That's right. That's right.
I was looking through the scores from yesterday, and there is a pilot who got a penalty of 100 points for a minimum altitude violation. That took him from 6th on the task to 75th.
Wow.
That's how much that 100 points means in our competition yesterday as well.
And, this year for the first time, the pylon team, there are a team of individuals who take care of those pylons for us. Balloon Fiesta is all about pin trading. We've been doing it for years. You see people walking around here with pins all over them. Well, the pylon team even has their own official pin for the first time this year. They shared one with each of us, which is also a good time to remind you that as you begin to see all the special shapes appearing this morning, if you're into pin trading or pin collecting and you're looking for the official Balloon Fiesta special shape pins, they are exclusive to Plano Pin Company, and they are located down along the north, right near the North Merchandise Tent on Main Street. And there are 89 different special shape pins produced this year, even though only 84 managed to get to Balloon Fiesta. And some have already sold out, and probably more than what we just talked with Britt Lee yesterday, and some had already sold out. Others were in low supply. So if you're looking to collect pins or you have a favorite special shape that you'd like to get a pin of, then you should make haste over to Plano Pin Company and browse their selection of the official Balloon Fiesta special shape pins. They are the exclusive vendor, the only place you can find them. And if you want to make sure that you have the official Fiesta pin of any type, special shape or otherwise, including the announcer pins, just look on the back. And if it isn't stamped with the Fiesta logo and the date, then the pin that you have is not official. Doesn't mean it's not a nice pin,
Right.
well made, etc.
There's some really nice pins that are not officials.
Absolutely, but it just means that that they are official. For years, Plano Pin created my original announcer pins. They were not official, but they were very good quality pins. But if you're looking to make sure you have an official pin of an event or of the special shapes or the glows or any of that sort of stuff, look on the back, and if it is official, it'll have that Fiesta logo stamped on it. And the shapes pins are available only at Plano Pin Company.
And there goes our balloon of the day. And so now it is time for the national anthem performed this morning by the Sandia Singers.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
The Sandia Singers bringing us our national anthem as Fred Dinkler carries away in the carried away balloon our Stars and Stripes, which means we are officially underway on Friday morning here at the 49th Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. We are underway. Our ride balloons are inflating. Shortly, our non-competitor balloons will be inflating as well. And then we'll have our special shapes standing up. And some of them will elect to fly away. Others will elect to stay on the field and provide a static display for you. And then about 8 o'clock, we will open the field to our competitive pilots to be able to fly into the field. And we'll have a ring the pole day as well as another set of target tasks on the field as well. On this final day of competition, we finish the week up tomorrow with mass ascensions on Saturday and again our farewell mass ascension on Sunday. So we are definitely underway. It is a gorgeous morning here in Albuquerque. Few low clouds way out around the north, nothing overhead, clear blue sky. We're expecting a light and variable day on the field. If there is a direction or a box up there, we're expecting it to be a reverse box, meaning that down low you will come from south to north. Up high you will go more north to south, although in watching our Dawn Patrol flight balloons and even Fred in Carried Away, it's a little more east-west. So we're almost calling it not a box but a mixing bowl today, where there's almost every direction you may want to go up there somewhere. You just have to find it as part of your direction and your flight plan as you attempt to either get to the field or fly away to a nice, safe launch site. So I see one of the newest Rainbow Rider balloons, the nice big yellow and red Zia symbol on it. We talked about different balloon fabrics and temperatures and those kinds of things. The other thing you get to see, and looking at the Rainbow Riders balloons is a good time to be able to see that, there are multiple sizes of balloons. And while they do come down into class sizes, we usually refer to them by the size of the envelope, the cubic foot volume or the cubic meters volume inside those envelopes. The Zia one we're looking at, 275,000 cubic feet of air inside that balloon. If you look a little bit to the left of it, you see the one with the big yellow band is a little bit smaller. It doesn't stand quite as tall. The balloon right next to the Zia one with the Arizona flag one on it, that's another 275. And as we go left, you see those other balloons a little bit shorter, probably more on the order of 200,000 cubic feet of air in them. And then the ones that we typically fly, what we call the sport balloons, usually in the 90,000 cubic foot range. So those Rainbow Rider balloons nearly about three times the size of our regular sport-shaped balloons. A few minutes ago, we were talking about how you can see a balloon being built and sewn right here at Balloon Fiesta this year. And Ruth Lind has managed to make her way inside the Sid Cutter Pavilion where that activity is taking place. Ruth, bring us up to date.
This is so much fun. I'm here this morning with Andy Baird, the general manager of Cameron Balloons. And Andy, tell us about this project that's happening in here.
Well, here we are. It's Friday. We've been working away while everyone else has been enjoying Fiesta. We've been back here doing something that's never been done at Fiesta before. We're building a hot air balloon right here. It will be born at Fiesta.
Born at Fiesta, and you were telling me people are going to be able to see it standing up before they leave Fiesta this week?
We are going to inflate it this weekend. We're watching the weather. The original plan was for Sunday morning. It may be tomorrow morning. We're kind of crossing our fingers that the weather's going to be good for us. But sometime this weekend it will be announced and we'll be inflating our new baby.
That's wonderful. Okay, you brought up new baby. I have to ask you, does she have a name yet?
Well, you know, the tradition is you never reveal the name until the birth actually happens. So you'll find out.
Okay, let's take a step back and let people see what's happening here. All the sewing is going on right during Fiesta, and we can watch this beautiful balloon being built. She's very yellow, has some other colors. You're not releasing any color pattern ahead of time to people?
No, the identity is still a secret. We're sworn to secrecy, but we've been working away all week. We brought the balloon down here in boxes, literally pieces, hundreds and hundreds of pieces of fabric, and my whole team, five people sewing all week long to put it into one piece, and we're in the final stages.
That's great. So you pre-cut the panels before you came down here?
Everything was pre-cut, so we literally brought it down in boxes, hundreds of panels, and then we sew them into groups and sew those groups together, and hopefully the jigsaw puzzle goes together in the right way.
So much fun. Andy, thank you for talking with us this morning on Balloon Fiesta Live. We can't wait to see what she looks like. Back to you guys.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ruth. Thanks, Andy, for a sneak peek of what is happening over in the Sid Cutter Pavilion. Remember, you can go along the east side of that building. It's the permanent building at the southeast corner of the field. If you go along the east side, you can peer through the windows and see the birth of a balloon, birth at Fiesta balloon here that is coming to fruition and getting very close to its debut tomorrow or Sunday.
I like the color pattern because one of my balloons, Coyote Moon, was yellow with 4 shades of blue, sky blue, robin's egg blue, royal blue, and navy blue. So that yellow and blue I saw there is quite attractive. Hey, you know, it's Special Shapes Day, and you probably are not aware of this. It just happened. We almost had our very own Special Shape visitor here on the set. Pepe Le Pew almost made an appearance.
The real one?
The real one.
Not the special shape balloon.
The real Pepe Le Pew.
Whoa.
Our crack backstage team, our stage manager, Bobby, and our production assistant, Greg, managed to, just as I was getting up and stepping backstage, they said you almost scared it and got sprayed.
Whoa.
So he had...
We'd be really social distancing then.
Social distancing then, you're right. But yeah, Pepe had literally climbed the stairway that leads to the rooftop and had made his way from backstage and was just coming around to my side of the set when they intercepted and were able to shoo him away. So those of you officials over on your tower, watch that stairway, because right now Pepe is down below in one of the little storage areas where the extra chairs and things are stocked. But yeah, we almost had a very special Shape visit this morning, and by Pepe Le Pew, those of you know I'm talking about, we had a skunk on the set, or at least backstage and trying to make a set. And as Bobby said, you know, with my luck, he would have been like Ranger and just jumped right up in my arms. Oh, goodness. So timing is everything. But, yeah,
wow.
we had.
I saw a little bit of extra scramble going on here as you.
I was completely unaware of it as I was getting up to step around backstage, and Bobby came up and said, "You almost got skunked." And I went, "What do you mean?" And then she explained what had happened. I tried to see him. He's apparently still just downstairs in one of the little storage areas there beside the building. So no telling where he's going to run off to. But yeah, almost a close encounter of the too close kind, I guess, or whatever. Whew.
So our Rainbow Riders balloons, our ride balloons, are taking off, and they're taking off, as we might expect, from the north side of the field. Usually we start on the south side of the field and at the south end of the middle. Now we're taking off from the very north and from the north middle as we work our way, because the direction, if you can say there is one, is right on the surface from, well, it's really kind of from southeast to northwest.
There is sushi on our video feed right next to
Sheriff
Armadillo. Sushi, Katie Grant, special shaped balloon.
Katie Griggs.
Griggs, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm still thinking about almost getting skunked. So glad that didn't happen. Although I probably would have been able to get the day off.
Probably the rest of the week off.
Yeah.
And just after, you probably brought it because you got your check signed. So, yeah.
You're not saying that Paul Smith is a skunk now, are you? You wouldn't say that.
No, I didn't say that.
No,
I can't talk that way about my boss.
Absolutely not.
One of my bosses.
Yeah.
I have so many. There's the three-headed clown.
Yep. There's the Xfinity balloon. That is Sean Askren flying Xfinity this year. And Dos Equis in amongst the crowd. It's an interesting perspective that we don't see very often, because normally, I think you were just explaining, they begin launching at the south end here where we are and work their way away from us. And so the balloons are laid out downwind, so it's the top of the balloons that we normally see. This morning, they're launching from the north end and working toward us, which means the balloons are laid out again downwind, but that would mean this morning that it's the basket, the business end of the balloon that we see first, and they are inflating, pointing away from us. So a different perspective for us here on the rooftop this morning.
And all those that are really close to us won't block the view of some of those. We'll be able to kind of see the inflation come towards us.
That's true, which raises the issue then in competition. We normally see the balloons land here in the south end of the field after they've crossed the target and block my view. You're able to see things because you're on the field. So does that mean that perhaps they'll be landing at the north end this morning and I'll still be able to see the targets?
You might be able to.
It might be fun.
They've actually, there is now the scoring area that is flagged off, and then there is a landing area, both north and south. It's been out there every day.
Yeah.
That is kind of flagged off for balloons to make that landing.
But since the wind flow typically is north to south,
yep.
they
They'll be
tend
on
to
the other end
cross
this
the
time.
target coming from the north and then land here at the south end. So this morning, hopefully they'll be going the opposite direction.
And you'll be able to watch.
And I'll be able to see things. Yes, that will be a nominal experience as well.
There's the wings of the stork on the left.
Yep.
Breaking out of the egg shape of the balloon.
The balloon formerly known as Great Expectations.
And of course, some of the souvenirs that you can take home. You can take home your own balloon.
You can.
Of course, you could take home your own full-size balloon
I was going to say,
well.
I don't think Ruth asked Andy if the new balloon was going to be offered for sale, or is it being built for a client, or is it a demo from the factory? Inquiring minds want to know. I guess we'll find out.
All will be revealed in due time.
All will be revealed in due time. There you go.
And again, we The word is tomorrow or Sunday, depending on what
Well,
the weather looks like.
It almost has to be because that's the only 2 days left of Fiesta.
Yeah. Yep. That's
Gosh.
plumb fired up. The bottom of plumb fired up. Debbie Ellis Olselgeen.
Seems weird to be saying there's only 2 days left of Fiesta. We can't
Yeah,
already
it seems
be
like we just started.
that far in the week already. I mean, we've all anticipated coming back for so long, and now it's going, and soon we'll be gone so quickly.
It always goes so fast.
It does. It always goes very quickly. We always sit here and think, wow, we just did this yesterday. And it's, even when we arrived on the opening Saturday, you and I both were commenting, it had been 2 years since we've done this, and it sure didn't seem like it.
Look at there. They just turned the fan on Arabelle.
Yeah.
So it was stretched out, and now there's the inflator fan being turned on, and you see the very beginnings of the cold air going into Arabelle. And someone is recording that, and we're getting them as well.
Yeah.
Kind of a throwback to the theme a couple of years ago of picture perfect.
Yes, indeed.
I guess so, because this goes so fast, the whole idea of time flies, which was really our theme last year, we carried it over to this year with the postponement.
Yeah, since this year really is last year.
And it has definitely flown by.
Yeah, it has. And of course, the other part of that saying is, you know, time flies when you're having fun. And goodness knows we all, I think, are certainly having fun here. We've heard that comment from everybody, how much they're enjoying being back, seeing all of our friends. For me, being back in the Duke City, a place that I've called home for the 2 weeks of the past, you know, this is the 31st year, my 32nd year announcing Fiesta, but last year I was working from, you know, my home virtually. And so.
But you got to sleep in later.
I got to sleep in later. I had a very short commute. And
let's see, we went on the air at 7 New Mexico or Mountain Time.
That was 8 a.m. at home. I'm on
so
Central
that's like
Time.
almost 5 hours difference from what it is being out here.
Well, the wake-up call instead of dark 30, 0330 was like 0700.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got about 3.5 hours of extra sleep every night, and the commute from the stage to my bed for a nap was only you know, a few steps, as opposed to a short drive as it is here in Albuquerque. I didn't have to fight for a parking spot, you know, or any of that kind of stuff. So, and I didn't have to go out to eat. You know, I just had to walk down to the kitchen. So, all in all, it wasn't a bad deal. And I had Ranger and Bonnie there to keep me company, especially Ranger. Maybe
Cutie Dink
maybe
is, so Cutie Dink is inflating. We talked with Trudy DeGraff last night, the red little cat with the wink balloon at us. And there's Hamlet right behind it, the pink,
That's
when
Doug
pigs
Gant.
fly.
Yeah, and there's Sushi again, and Sheriff Armadillo. I'm wondering if Ranger was maybe communicating, you know, with Pepe to have him come up and say hello. Ranger may be mad that I'm not there. Whew, close call, though. Yeah. Strange. The things that happen at, you know, Fiesta that you just never expect.
Nice slow launch.
It is slow. I mean, they're tracking to the northwest, but
and no one's going very high yet, so
no, they're not
taking that
I think
highway or that slow way, if you will, out to the northwest.
And I think the target is to get over there and play in the river. That would be my guess.
I was thinking about that.
Get over there and play in the Rio Grande.
And then continue to fly on over to the wide open spaces of Rio Rancho.
Yep. Or if you want, go high and see if there's a wind to bring you back over this direction, bring you back to the east.
Just kind of go up and hang out.
But yeah, really, really slow.
Nice days. There goes that Rainbow Riders balloon I was describing before with the New Mexico Zia on it.
Zia's on the side? Yeah, that's their new one, isn't it?
It is. It's got that extra pattern just above the scoop at the bottom, the little design there. And depending on the angle that you're looking at, you may see the Roadrunner, you may see the Coyote. Here at Balloon Fiesta, we have Balloon Fiesta, AIBF, Albuquerque National Balloon Fiesta, Inc., has a paid staff of literally 20 people. And to be able to put together the world's premier balloon event, those 20 people can't do it without a whole lot of help from volunteers that we call Navigators. And Ruth Lind has caught up with one of them who helps support the Navigators. Ruth?
Thank you, Art. Yes, I am down here in the Navigator tent. Now, I can officially be here because I am a Navigator in both of my roles here at Balloon Fiesta, but Shelley Scarlupta has a fun job as a Navigator. She is the team leader of the Navigator tent. Shelley, you were telling me a minute ago how many Navigators are actually working this event?
About 1,400 this year.
And how long have you been working as a Navigator, and what are some of the different things that you have done over the years?
This is my 20th year, and I have done courtesy shuttle. I have done team lead for information booth. I have done information booth. I have done some trash. I have done some porta potties. I have done let's see. I've been pretty much all over the field.
You've really done it all, and you've just given us some of an idea of what the different roles are here at Balloon Fiesta for Navigators. 1,400 people. Think about that. What is a typical workload in terms of time that a Navigator would put in during the course of Fiesta?
Most of them would put in, if it was just for their jacket, they would work 5 shifts. But a lot of them put in a lot more hours than that, a lot more shifts than that.
And a shift is how long?
Anywhere from 4 to 6 hours, most.
So that's a lot of time. And what people on the field may not know is that we don't, as Navigators, come in here blind. We have a lot of training that we have to do ahead of time and get signed off on online ahead of time. Talk to us about what some of that looks like.
Well, we try to get everybody, the Navigators, to learn about the field safety, all the locations on the field, all the customer service. There is also ballooning information that is vital, because you need to know what to do about the balloons and when, and then we have things like classes like CPR, which we get certified for CPR, and the Balloon Fiesta makes sure that we do that, and also the other trainings. But I'd have to say customer service would be the big one, and what's new, and public safety. And this year, of course, we went to learning about COVID and all the new regulations for that. So there was more training.
There was more training this year. The Garcia brothers do a wonderful video on customer service, and it just really makes you stop and think. History of ballooning, history of Balloon Fiesta. It's a wonderful course of training that we go through. And then we get to come spend all this time with people here on the field. Shelley, thank you for supporting our Navigators. You do a wonderful job. Glen, Art, please tell everyone to say thank you to a Navigator today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ruth. And thank you, Shelley, for all the hard work that she and all of the Navigators put in.
And the jackets they were talking about are basically the same jackets we've been wearing up here.
Those beautiful two-tone blue jackets, blue being my color. I'm really, really happy with the jacket this year.
So, and actually, we both have the inside of the jacket on.
The inside fleece.
Because it's a 3-in-1 jacket. You have the other one right there?
The jacket's around back here just in case. Because it's been very temperate this year.
Right.
We really haven't had many mornings where we've had to really bundle up. We always teach people to dress in layers, and while we're still doing that, we just don't have as many layers so far this year. We've not needed them.
So you can pick those Navigators out by that jacket. Of course, they all have a badge that says Navigator, has their name and picture on it as well, so you can tell who they are. And actually, our Navigators are sponsored by Rainbow Riders, which, of course, we're watching the Rainbow Riders balloons get in the air with all of their rides, as well as some of our special shapes are now inflated and in the air. We just saw the three-faced clown. I see Cutie Dink standing up on our end. We have already mentioned Sheriff Armadillo. We saw Air starting to get into Creamland, and she's getting kind of nice and plump now.
Yeah, and you were mentioning the sponsorship for the Navigators, our jackets, in addition to having, for us, the Balloon Fiesta Live logo on the front, the Fiesta logo on the back. On the left sleeve, it has a logo and mentioned that
Rainbow Riders.
Navigators are sponsored by, Rainbow Riders. Right.
There's
operator.
Pencil Boy and the Red Devil having a little face-off.
Yeah, and there goes Sushi. She'll be swimming out to the river, no doubt. Fish out of water this morning, trying to get back to the water.
There you go.
Back at the other end of the field, the north end, there is the other little yellow fish, and that is Gus T. Guppy. If our camera widens out and pulls back to the north end, you'll see Gus T. Guppy down there, just climbing into the sky. Larry Konash, for years, was piloting that balloon, and I know his daughter Terry is watching. Hopefully Larry is as well. But good to have Gus T. Guppy back with us. That balloon, like so many others out here, had original owners, and it was originally the balloon owned by Pat and Susan Harwell out of Keithville, Louisiana. They're my neighbors just at the opposite end of the runway. There's Gus T. Guppy on our video screen. Is that one of the poles
That's what
for
I
the competition later today? Sure.
No, that's one of the flagpoles out to
Oh,
the
is
north.
that the flagpole? Okay.
That's one of the flagpoles,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. Just
There's
checking.
Fred B. Rabbit in the upper right part of the screen. We were talking about that. That is a rebuild of the original from 1990.
That was originally designed and built by Rusty Elwell.
Keith Spruill now has rebuilt this one, the replica. They said they took pains to make it as close as they could to the original. And I think they did a great job.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, it tricked us because the first time we saw it, we thought it was the original Fred B. Rabbit. We were talking about how old it must be, because the original was built back in the early 1990s. So that is a rebuild, but it was built as a tribute to the original balloon. There is Alicorn, the pink unicorn. We have two unicorns with us this year, a pink one that you see on the video screen now and that we can see here live at the park. And then there also is the white unicorn, which is Alaska, the unicorn that is being piloted by Tom Warren out of Florida.
There's Pencil Boy looking with in his glasses and the reflection of all the balloons. We saw Smokey standing up next to the pink unicorn. And here's another way to take your own balloon home.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah. We saw a few of those walking out. I think there might be lights in those, or they have some with lights as well.
Yeah.
So there's Pegasus and the Snoopy balloon with the Rickenbacker. And then I see the Keystone Cop.
Keystone Cop, yeah.
Yellow Bird still inflating below them. That's the yellow, obviously. There's the top of the Snoopy.
We were talking about the Keystone Cop and its jailbird partner, the guy in the black and white.
Con Air.
Con Air is not here this year. Not sure why.
We were speculating that he didn't get good time off.
Yeah.
No good behavior.
Good behavior while he was behind bars.
Couldn't get the weekend pass.
Yeah. Normally we see those two together.
There goes Red Devil, lifting off above the rest of our Rainbow Riders field. And I see my good friend Peter Cuneo in the air out there as well. Blue and yellow with red little spikes around it. Sandia Sunrise. That's one of the balloons I get to fly during the year. Peter, of course, part of the Barbara Fricke Peter Cuneo gas balloon team that came in second.
Yeah.
Just 18 miles behind Bert Padelt and Noah Forden.
And we'll be honoring them in our award ceremony that takes place tomorrow midday after tomorrow morning's flying activities. You and I will be hosting the award ceremony as we have for a great number of years. And this year it will be out of doors, I think you were telling me, over
yes,
in
it will.
Basically on the the patio.
On the patio surrounding the Sid Cutter.
The Sid Cutter.
So bring your sunglasses.
Yeah.
Because you'll be looking basically right into the sun. The way we're planning to stage that. Again, part of all the COVID things that we're doing.
Right.
We've moved all of our inside seating outside. So you go inside, pick up your food or whatever it is, and then you go outside.
Yeah. Yeah, we expanded sponsor hospitality, which is here at the south end where we are, where, again, you go inside and get your food, and then you go outside for seating so that we can keep people out of doors and hopefully as safe as possible.
Which is a good time. There's Peter and Sandia Sunlight.
Yeah.
Actually, that one's Sunrise 2. The blue skirt is the second one of Sandia Sunrise. If it were the yellow skirt, it would be Sandia Sunlight. Other than that, well, there's one other difference, but other than that, they're basically identical. So being inside, that's the other time that the state public health mandates say you must be wearing a mask inside.
Right.
And inside tents is described and
that's indoors.
Defined as being indoors.
Yep.
And also when you are hanging out in a very crowded area, you should also be wearing a mask. So to avoid the crowds and the masks, just move out farther into the field. Lots of room to get up close personal with balloons here at the south end, at the north end, and probably on the west side as well. Everybody tends to gather over there along the Main Street stage, which is a great place to be. The video wall's there and all that other great stuff.
Yeah,
but
the picnic tables are there, so it's a natural gathering place.
Yeah. Spread out just a little bit farther.
If you want to put a little social distance between you and the other folks, there's plenty of room. It's a big field. Plenty of room for you to walk around, stretch your legs, and seek out your favorite balloon, perhaps.
So I'm looking at this sea of balloons that is moving to the northwest, and now that they've been out there just a little bit, look what's happening, exactly what you said.
Yeah.
They're dropping down and going to try and play in the mighty Rio Grande.
Yes.
Talk about hyperbole.
I was going to say, mighty being a relative term, of course. But
especially this year.
Yeah, that's where they're headed.
Yep.
A lot of them anyway.
And you don't have to be very high, and you are in the sun. And so the colors definitely
That's
pop.
true. Yeah.
There's Lady Jester.
Excuse me. God goodness. Yawn attack.
Stop that.
Yeah, there is that Rainbow Rider balloon, the new one with the two Z's. Look at it. It's way up high and to the east. See it?
Well, yep. Remember that if you go high, you're going to go back east.
Yeah.
The other new one is up there as well.
Well, and the Three Clowns is doing that. They've climbed up high, and they're beginning to move back east across the top of the field.
Almost looks like there's a little. There's a little south in
South
there
to
too.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
South and east. So our mixing bowl is definitely hanging in there. So we are 30 minutes from the start of competition. Something tells me we're going to be delayed getting to competition.
I don't think we're going to get this batch lifted and launched in 30 minutes.
But they talked about the weather conditions holding throughout the morning, so we'll start it a little later and extend it a little bit.
Yep. There goes at the northeast corner of the field the upside down Humpty Dumpty, which of course is officially known as off the wall Humpty.
And there's Spidey Pig along with Pegasus. I see Buzzy still getting inflated. Saw the edge of Chicky Boom. There's Chick-fil-A high in the picture on our sky. Craig Kennedy flying Chick-fil-A for us. Another one of those new sponsors. We're glad to have Chick-fil-A. There's off the wall on the screen.
I forgot who sent me the message, but earlier in the week I was talking about my surprise here one year when I found that Chick-fil-A does chicken noodle soup. And somebody sent me a picture and said, ever since you talked it up, I can't get it out of my mind. And they were dining on Chick-fil-A chicken noodle soup. So I guess maybe I should send a bill to Chick-fil-A. Get reimbursed for a commercial endorsement, maybe.
I had a conversation with one of the local Chick-fil-A owners not too long ago, and they were looking for pictures of balloons to put inside their stores to give the nice local flavor, and that kind of led to a whole conversation about Chick-fil-A and Balloon Fiesta working together. So glad to see that was able to come together. Glad to have the Chick-fil-A balloon here.
We have a restaurant at home in Shreveport, Louisiana that the balloon group, our local balloon group, frequents a lot, particularly for breakfast after flying. And they did that. They requested that we provide them with pictures of all of our local balloons flying in the local area there around Shreveport. And they have those decorating the walls of their restaurant at Southfield is the name of the restaurant. Pat Harwell kind of orchestrated all of that, and even though I don't actively fly anymore, they're included in the various photographs. I've got a couple of pictures of my balloons on the wall there, so it's always kind of nice to go and see.
One of the local restaurants in the area we fly has actually collected trading cards from a number of the balloon pilots, and they have them all over the wall.
Oh, that would be a neat thing to do. We should send Zarek Wells there. Because apparently he has plenty of guilty cards to go around.
That's kind of become a new little fad here in Albuquerque, maybe other places as well, where you will see another balloon cruise truck. They might be inside the store or the restaurant. It's parked there and obviously unattended.
Yeah.
So you photobomb the car or the truck with your balloon cards.
Oh, okay.
And actually somebody put a term for it, drive-by something or other. So
there's a selection of pins.
This, I was going to say, this looks like
truck.
Ty Young's fire truck.
Yeah.
Ty Young, a former president of the board of directors. He's still on the board of directors. And Ty is probably our resident souvenir, mostly pins, but pretty much everything Balloon Fiesta.
Yeah.
He was a youngster at the very first one in 1972. Got started collecting pins and patches and chase flags and just about everything Balloon Fiesta. If it's been made and has Balloon Fiesta involved, Ty Young knows about it and probably has a few copies of it.
Yeah, I remember talking with Ty the year that he was president of Fiesta about his collection and learned that it was really quite extensive.
It is.
And of course, over in Europe, they don't do pins so much as they do typically stickers. And as the camera was panning the truck there, I saw a number of stickers on the side of the
I need to get a Balloon Fiesta Live sticker down to his truck.
Yeah.
Have a few of those.
Yeah. Fire truck needs one of those for sure.
So when we started up the collector's corner on the balloonfiesta.com webpage, we started putting up all of that kind of memorabilia that people were collecting. And we really started with the pins with an eye towards helping people identify what were the official pins and what were the unofficial pins, and with the opportunity to kind of see those. And so in order to get the majority of the pins that we have in the collector's corner, I actually got to go to Ty's place, see his extensive collection, and borrow some of those pins to get pictures of to put them up. So we have many, I'm sure we're missing some, many pins on our collector's corners, as well as all of the programs, all of the calendars, and all of the posters, including those posters from Mark, the special shapes that were kind of official special shape posters. Then there's the official posters, and then there was a whole nother set of posters that other people made about Balloon Fiesta as well.
Outstanding. And Ty does have a very extensive collection. And we've talked about Mark Passan a couple of times this week, an artist who for a number of years did our Special Shapes Rodeo Glodio.
Who's joined us online many mornings.
Yeah, Mark's been commenting online. One of the other popular attractions year by year here at Balloon Fiesta is, of course, the APD's Mounted Patrol. Kids of all ages always love seeing them. They always have pins to sell, I think, to raise funds for the care of their horses and some of the other APD projects. And our intrepid reporter, Ruth Lind, has tracked down the Mounted Patrol. So Ruth will toss it down for some words from the horse's mouth.
Oh, thank you. We just found these beautiful horses, and I'm with Detective Whitney Burton with the Mounted Patrol and her buddy Max, who I got to tell you, he's nice and warm, and it just got cold out here. But Whitney, tell me about what kind of a horse Max is and what you guys are doing out here.
So this is a Percheron. Most of these are Percherons with one Belgium, and we are with the Albuquerque Police Department horse-mounted unit. We come out here every year to do whatever they need. We're actually the second most photographed thing here, besides the balloons. We like to do our PR work and let all the kids come and see the horses. This is a great way for an outreach for the Albuquerque Police Department to show our beautiful horses and show that we're just part of the community every single day.
That's absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much, Whitney. We really appreciate the work you do. Glen, Art, I'm not surprised that they're the second most photographed thing out here on the field, because these animals are just stunning. Absolutely beautiful. Back upstairs to you.
Thanks, Ruth. And yeah, the APD's Mounted Patrol, again, one of the always ever popular groups that are here at Balloon Fiesta Park. And I didn't know they were the second most photographed, but I certainly would not argue that. And I agree with you. When you see those animals, they are just stunningly beautiful horses. And yeah, the APD Mounted Patrol, always great to see them here at Fiesta.
In addition to them, we also have the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Posse Patrol is out here, search and rescue. So there's actually 3 or 4 of those units all working together out here. And yes, even if we put 40+ hours of balloons on the air, we're certainly not in there. Ruth isn't in there. So those horses, there's always a crowd around the horse patrols, the mounted patrols, no matter which unit they are from. There's the stork now standing up, and a great shot. You can see the stork with the baby in the little hammock there.
Little bundle of joy.
Yeah. And the legs coming out the back of the eggs, the wings coming out the side of the eggs.
You know, that's one of those things that, things that make you go, where did the story ever get started that babies were delivered by storks? There's a backstory there of some sort. I don't know it. I'm just kind of curious. Maybe someone in our audience knows. I mean, because that's been an old wives' tale for years and years and years, decades really, that, a stork delivers a newborn babe, as that one is doing. But I'm just curious what the origin of that idea is.
Van wants to know if anyone knows what direction the balloons are flying. So Camille has already answered a little bit for him, but if you stay low within about 500 or 600 feet, you go to the northwest. If you go up higher than that, you start moving to the east. If you go higher than that, you stop, come a little bit south. Chick-fil-A is now south. So it depends on the pilot. Staying low, it's northwest. Above that, there's a lot of different steerage, and we're going to see probably all of those directions come into play when we get to the competition part of the morning.
If we ever
get there.
We might have to put that off till tomorrow at this rate, because it's a very slow inflation this morning.
No, they're finally starting to deflate these.
They're just now beginning
down
to
here
inflate
on
the
row
front
1 and 2. Yeah.
What would be the last rows this morning, since we started at the opposite end and worked our way here to the south.
In fact, look at right off the deck. Those that are not even 75 feet high yet are starting to move a little bit east. Then when you get about 200 feet, you turn out to the northwest.
Alicorn has gone airborne. Having yawn attacks this morning. I apologize.
There's Evo.
Where's
Ivo. He was on the screen.
Oh.
You have to keep watching the north to see the
north.
Well,
I tend not to watch the screen and watch what's actually happening. The screen shows you what's happening too. It's just a different viewpoint. There's the penguin family. Puddles, Splash, and Tall Steve.
Get ready for it.
Bingo. And there, peeking behind it, photobombing the penguins is Duma.
Bingo, bingo.
The cheetah.
Bingo, bongo, bingo, bongo,
from
bingo, bongo, bingo.
Longleat. All of those balloons come to us from Andrew Holly and the fleet associated with Sky Safari at Longleat. Bingo, bingo, bingo. Duma, the cheetah, is the name for that balloon.
If you didn't get a bingo blackout after that one.
Yeah, I know. It's almost, Duma is also the registration for the balloon, G-D-U-M-A, and Duma, just to give you a little education this morning, if you haven't heard it already this week, is the Swahili word for cheetah, as opposed to the Swahili word for Cheetos, which probably is something entirely different. I'm not sure.
Yum yum would be that, wouldn't
it? Yum yum, yes. There is Wags in the sky to get back to the business at hand. Wags is the little balloon, the teal balloon with the puppy dog on the side. That's Dean Carlton. And I've told you before, I'll tell you again, the puppy dog artwork on the balloon was actually 2 of their family pets, actually modeled for the artist in order to come up with the puppy on the side of the balloon. Lindy is getting airborne. The caricature balloon from Lindstrand Balloons, which young Peyton last night said was his favorite special shape. And we don't have Cymbaloo here from Longleat this year, but we do have the other lion just to the right of, there's Lindy on the screen. And just to its right, if the camera pans around a little further to the right, you'll see the black lion. And I need to get into my spotting app to remember the name of that lion.
We're calling it Simba this year.
Simba, okay.
Although we called it Lion in Colorado Springs a month ago.
Well, as I say, Longleat's lion is Cymbaloo, so.
This one is Simba.
Just Simba, okay.
There it is.
Yep, there it is. Wearing a crown on its head if he turns around to where you can see it, but yeah, it's the black-haired, or do lions have hair or fur?
Yes.
Okay. Not sure which. Anyway.
This one has a crown.
This one has a crown. Because he's king of the jungle, of course.
And he's nylon. Yeah, just look at this shot here where the balloons at a couple hundred feet are going east, and then at about 300 feet they turn around and go back west. I love this shot when because of the angle you're looking up at them, they look like they're going different directions at the same altitude. It's actually a little bit different. But the optical effect here is that they're just kind of mixing around. So our mixing bowl analogy from this morning is definitely coming into play. And then there's Andy Gayton in his Snoopy Eddie Rickenbacker balloon out there who doesn't seem to be doing anything. Well, now he's going to go up a little higher and get into the pattern as it seems to be. We've joked about the sorry Ghost Rider, the pattern is full.
Yep.
The pattern is working here.
Do not
and you
have permission to
get in it and follow along.
As the king of the jungle goes airborne, I was refreshing my memory by scrolling back through a post I made not too long ago. The line from The Lion King, Hakuna Matata. Meaning basically that everything's
no worries.
Okay. Or as they would say in Jamaica, no worry, man, no problem.
Pato Lantern, one of our pumpkin balloons. The regular shape one is airborne.
Get back to the
POW-MIA is in the air. There's EO on the right and Augie, the friendly dragon, on the left of your screen.
Pegasus just getting airborne in the northeast corner. There goes Duma. And here comes the koala bear.
Duma's going to just jump right up into that direction out to the northwest.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine a watering hole is good hunting grounds for a cheetah. So he's going to go out and see who's.
Well, we saw the rabbit go out there.
Yeah. Maybe Pepe went out there
rabbit,
too.
Get the rabbit.
It's killed the rabbit. Killed the rabbit.
I know. I was trying to make it a little more friendly.
Dina Lee, Hakuna Matata. You got it, Dina. Does anyone have permission to buzz the tower? No, Ghost Rider. We just said the pattern is full.
Hey, if you're out there in Corrales, they're coming your way.
Dina says, or mark the tower. No, we're not going there.
Already had Pepe up here.
Yeah, Pepe has made his visit, and he tried to leave his mark, but fortunately he was just a bit wide of target this morning.
There's looking up inside our ExxonMobil balloon, so we're right there next to the basket. We're seeing that they are tabbing in or putting in the top. That's the parachute top. That's the vent, the deflation port. They tab that in with Velcro while the balloon is on the ground. Once they stand it up, they pull all that Velcro loose. The hot air keeps it in place during flight. You have a rope, one of that red line that we see there comes down from the top. They'll pull on that, open up the top, and that lets some hot air out, and the balloon cools off and comes back down. There's a front shot of Simba so you can see the crown better.
There's Simba with the crown on his head. It's interesting, we've talked just two balloons over from our ExxonMobil balloon. We've talked about how light and variable it is this morning, and there are two balloons side by side laid out in opposite directions. On the one balloon, we see the yellow top with the red parachute, very distinct here in front of us. Just next to it, the oxy balloon. The balloons on either side are laid out in the other direction. You heard, I think it was Brad who mentioned to pilots that you might want to turn around and lay out in the
other
opposite direction because the winds are out of the south this morning, and we always lay out downwind. One balloon obviously already was in position for the usual inflation with the winds on the surface from the north, and so but right here in front of us on the rooftop we see two balloons that are laid out south to north and one in the middle laid out north to south. So we're seeing both the tops and the bottom of a couple of balloons here.
It is definitely light and variable enough that you could get away with either way
it
today.
is. Yeah, it's so calm on the ground you can get away with that.
There's Tall Steve.
Yep.
Spidey Pig is airborne as well. Bud E. Beaver is up in the mix.
There is Puddles, and I can finally tell because Puddles has no eyelashes. Puddles is the boy.
And we got on our screen a great
Penguin.
shot of Yellowbird and Putty Cat. Now
There.
we've moved on to Sheriff
Armadillo.
Armadillo.
The stork is getting airborne.
And
so
there it is. Look
storks
at that.
Fly. Yep.
How's that for a production crew?
Right next to it is
There's the
when,
horns of Arabelle in the lower right.
When pigs fly is just next to the stork, and Spidey Pig has taken off out there as well. Buddy Beaver's in the sky. A lot of special shapes flying this morning. We've said some will remain static display on the ground probably along the eastern edge of the field. All three pigs in one shot. Yeah, how about that?
Wow.
Just pigs in the sky.
So from our view on the south end of the field, it looks like we're just getting started. But in reality, we're getting
almost
towards the
wrapped
end
up, yeah.
of our competitive or non-competitive balloons to get in the air, which means those of you out there on the north side of all these balloons in the center of the field, it's time for you to start moving to the sides of the field. Go north, go south, go east, go west. But we're going to be flagging off a big section of the field for our competition, which is scheduled to start in about 9 minutes. So the faster we can clear the center, the sooner we can get to that competition. So all of you out there in the center of the field, if you will start moving to the north, east, west, or south, and start clearing the area, look for the flagging that is being put up out there, and get outside the flagging so that we can get our competition area set up this morning. Thanks for your help in clearing that area. We're going to continue to get these balloons off the ground and into the air. Our special shapes will, many of them, stay static inflated for you on the east side of the field. And our competitive balloons will be given the okay to get in the air shortly so that they can come in and we can get our competition underway.
Yep.
So start clearing the center of the field, please. Thank you very much.
I can already see, looking through some of these balloons that are inflating and standing up here on the south end, see out to the north, and the field is very much clear on the other end. So we do have all of the balloons launched from down there. Now it's just a question of getting those spectators to begin to move. And primarily everybody moves over to the east, one, because that's where all the food and drink is along Main Street. That's where all the good shopping is for all of the souvenirs. And that's where the special shapes that don't fly will stay on static display. So.
And the sun's over there, so the sun will be at the back for your
over
pictures.
there. It's definitely not on the rooftop yet, but it is over there on the field, so it's the warm place to be. It will also be a crowded place, however, and again, we would remind you that given the state mandates for health care, we encourage you to mask up if you find yourself in a big crowd of folks out here, and if you're all going to gather over there along the east, it will be hard to socially distance, so please keep that in mind. It's a personal choice, but, you know, do what is right for you, but also think about your fellow spectator and your fellow man out here today and help protect them.
Buzzy is standing up as Chicky Boom is up and Uncle Sam's about to inflate. And just a moment ago, we saw Tristan McLean setting our Exxon Mobil balloon up. Great shot with the burner going into the envelope. And there it is on the southwest corner of the field.
And someone earlier said, let's Arabelle, and we are Arabelling as we speak. there goes
Did you see the
Arabelle.
pictures from yesterday morning with the orange sky that were
No,
posted?
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, a number of pictures got posted
Yeah?
to Facebook yesterday. Arabelle was the balloon of the day yesterday.
Yes, it
so
was.
here's Arabelle with the United States flag hanging below it, and we had a gorgeous orange sky.
Yeah, probably the best sunrise of the week that we've had.
Of a couple of years, I think.
Well, okay.
But definitely of the week.
Yeah.
So our three-faced clown is now flying back over the field.
Yeah, he has boxed the field, which is kind of a diagonal box. It's more of a northwest-southeast box than it is a typical north-south box. And so, yeah, he flew out to the northwest, climbed high, came back to the southeast, and now has dropped down a bit and is going back out to the northwest. Northwest being the direction out to the Rio Grande and to Rio Rancho, where all the open landing areas are.
The lower winds continue to swing around and are coming more from the east to the southeast. It's almost like we might actually see them come south here in a little bit.
Well,
it's definitely going to be an interesting day for competition.
Yeah, Brad said it was going to be light and variable, and it is that. There's our little red fish balloon and the pumpkin are in the sky. Pato lantern. That balloon just, I always think of the movie Halloween. That one just kind of freaks me out. 'Cause I do not like horror movies. I don't watch horror movies because I don't like them.
That would be a good reason not to watch them.
Well, yeah, I guess so. But I know enough about the Halloween, and there's a new Halloween movie coming out this year. There's another in the series of all things.
And you're not going to be first in line to see it, I'll bet.
No, I will not be. I've seen the previews. Jamie Curtis looks more like my grandmother than the Jamie Curtis I remember, but we're all getting older, so it's, you know, I'm not the kettle calling the pot black or whatever. But yeah, that whole series, I've never seen one of the Halloween movies, and I have no intention of ever seeing one of them. So there. Golden Corral has their balloon going airborne. No, I have frequented a Golden Corral. I do like Golden Corral. So
Rex Jennings flying Golden Corral for us.
Tim Floyd, who was a guest here on the field on the tower with us last night, talking about the BFA National Convention coming up next year in Topeka, Kansas. He's airborne in his balloon Glorious Drifter. It's the yellow balloon with blue, red, and orange accents, and then the I think that's a red cross on the two sides.
There goes Monty the sheep right off the screen and off your rocker in the center. So a number of our shapes flying, and I was just going to talk about this one, the 76 Spirit of 76 balloon.
Yeah, I can see
Jason Gabriel, who got his first balloon ride or opportunity in Colorado Springs as a young boy. Now he flies there. He actually lives in Arlington, Virginia. Got a chance to actually meet him in Colorado Springs over Labor Day. Been talking about him for years. And we keep checking in with our ExxonMobil balloon and Tristan McLean, our pilot, and they are about to take off. We've got our camera in the balloon. And so put some heat in there, get a launch director. There might be a balloon in front of them that they have to get out of the way first, Steve.
Well, launching in front of them is a balloon that has the wizard on the side, throwing off, got shooting stars on the balloon, a little bumblebee underneath
Bumblebee
it,
or
parachuting,
a caterpillar.
I think,
Yeah.
or a caterpillar, can't quite tell which. Little flowers around the bottom of the balloon. A lot of artwork. Really nice balloon that is.
Golden Corral is drifting south at us.
Sure is.
I told you
coming
it was going
south
to change.
over the tower.
Yep.
The layers are really not much thicker than the height of a balloon this morning.
Not much.
Every little inch or two of altitude can make a difference in the direction you're going. Although the overall general direction still is southeast to the northwest, out toward Rio Rancho. But there are certainly options within that. And Golden Corral has found one of them to come right over the top of us. It's also suddenly gotten cooler this morning, I'm feeling.
Because the breeze changed and we're starting to feel a little bit.
That would make sense.
And there goes ExxonMobil. So So we're seeing what's happening. We're getting our balloon cam. You're getting an opportunity to see the field as we take off. Waving back to the crowd.
I just realized all this time we've been talking about the ExxonMobil balloon. I was looking at the other one.
Oh.
There are two, and you've been talking about Tristan, who is over normally right in front of us, but this morning he's over to my left along the western corner of row A.
So there's the shot from the ground.
This little blue and silver balloon is also, well, an ExxonMobil. Now the guys are taking off, and the flow is coming almost directly to the south. We're back to a more usual
Hi, Tristan.
south flow.
We see you.
Morning, Tristan.
He's waving at the camera and waving at us both. He's going to go right by the side of the rooftop studio here.
Scotty McClinton in the U.S. Bank balloon is airborne, and we'll see at the moment he's moving toward us if he continues to climb.
There's a shot from the air of all those balloons headed out to the northwest.
Headed out to the river. It is a river of balloons.
And then here's the field. And so, look, we can now see that the north end of the field is basically clear.
Yeah.
All those balloons on the right-hand side, that's the special shapes that are going to stay there. And most of you have cleared the center of the field for our competition.
The spectators doing a good job.
A few of you still out there. We'll ask that you hustle yourself to the sides of the scoring area so that we can get our competition underway. Scheduled to start in 10 seconds, although we're not going to quite make that.
No, I don't think so.
Nope. Uncle Sam's finally standing up, and right above us, this blue and gray one, not going anywhere.
Ribbit. Ribbit. See what's in the air? Ribbit.
Oh,
That's a cue to the truck. Ribbit.
Kermie. We're still looking at TikTok in that Saguaro Grande.
That particular balloon, though, that frog balloon, reminds me years ago, back in 1988, I think it was, I was invited down to a ballooning event in Jamaica. And in Jamaica, they have, now someone in our audience will know, I've forgotten, but in Jamaica, they have a little frog, and they call it a singing frog because they do kind of, they're almost like crickets. They make a unique sound, mostly at night, and they're called singing frogs. If anybody knows the official name of those, please let me know in our Facebook group. I can't recall, but they were called singing frogs. And they were so cute. I brought a couple of plush Jamaican singing frogs back home to family members at the time. And that green frog that is flying, our shape, ribbit, reminds me of that. Don't know why, but it does.
I just saw Tom McCandle and Zia go off, as well as our KOB balloon. We're back in the sky here, looking back on everything.
And it was Tom's Zia balloon that we were seeing the yellow with the red parachute top. We were seeing the top. They were the ones laid out opposite the prevailing wind this morning.
Look at all the balloons in the sky. That's what it's like to be up in a balloon.
Pauline Baker says are they tree frogs? Is that the name of them, Pauline? They are. They do make a beautiful sound. And I remember they were referred to as singing frogs down in Jamaica. I was thinking they had more of a romantic name than tree frogs, but you could be right, Pauline. I'm not arguing. Just curious.
So our ExxonMobil balloon with Tristan is now directly overhead, as is the Zia balloon we were just talking about.
Well, and soon, will be the Loveless health system balloon. They provide all of our first aid and health care here on the site, have for years and years and years and years and years. And their balloon is just about to cross right over the top of us.
Between us and ExxonMobil.
There's the original. There's Rubber Ducky is in the sky. If you look around, the fun thing to do is look around the pond that the rubber duck is sitting in, and you'll see a fish. You'll see, I think there's an old shoe. There's a beer can.
Yep, there's the shoe.
Yep, there's all sorts of things at the bottom of that pond.
Yeah, we've definitely had another wind shift in our light and variable morning.
Yeah.
Snowbird. And there goes, that's Bill Walker in Honeydew right from in front of us. Bill on the board of directors. Kind of saw, if it turns around, we're still able to see inside. We'll see the top, the parachute top of his has a smiley face on it.
Smiley face on it, yeah.
But look at the shot back of the
look
special
at Sunny
Shapes.
Boy amongst that group of shapes that's down there
and
on
the
field.
cactus.
Yeah, there's Scotty McClinton in the U.S. Bank balloon.
Serenity, the purple one right above it.
Everybody going out to the river. Our new sponsor, Oxy, their balloon is launching now. The balloon called Captain. the top of which looks very much like the Captain America shield, the balloon red, blue, silver with silver stars. Just turning it so that we can see the Oxy banner facing us here on the rooftop studio. There's Flip Flop Fantasies, Terry Dillard's balloon. Cynthia Seal is on the screen. Kashari is on the screen there.
Striker is still inflating right below it.
Yeah, that's the.
We can look behind it. We can see
ball.
Lady Jester, and the orange back there that we can just see a little piece of it.
Yeah.
Will be the sloth balloon.
Oh, well, someone on Facebook was asking, where is the sloth balloon? Well, there it is.
It's kind of hiding behind some things. There's Itsy Bitsy, our big spiders.
As sloths are, it's being a bit slow about inflating.
Yeah. Here comes Matt Hurst.
Oxy balloon team. Don't forget 75 feet, folks.
Yeah.
Just saying.
He's getting there. The Captain Balloon with the Oxy banner. Good morning.
Terry Dillard coming right over to sponsor hospitality and Flip Flop Fantasies. Hey, Terry. Good morning, my friend.
Giving a wave of the hat to us.
Yep. Cynthia Seal taking off now, getting airborne. There's a great shot looking up at this rainbow spiral balloon with all the rainbow colored pennants hanging from it, as you can see on the screen, and they're directly in front of us as well. Cynthia Seal airborne now. There's the sloth, just coming into clear view this morning. First time we've seen that.
Well, we see the back side of it on the screen.
Yeah.
As well as Tiamo on the right-hand side.
Yep.
And those of you who are still in the center of the field, we need you to move either north, south, east, or west. We're attempting to flag off our competition area. So I see a number of you still in what will be our scoring and competition area. Now that the balloons have cleared the field, that are going to be those that are that are standing up on the east side, go ahead, go over in with those. Give us some space so that we can have the scoring area open for our competitors to come in. If you're in the middle of that scoring area, please move to the outsides. Hey, Tristan, up in the balloon. How's it going up there?
Hey, good morning, guys. It is truly beautiful up here. We really have a great morning going. We got lots of balloons up. The special shapes look great, and it's truly going to be an interesting and fun flight headed over to the west side, the northwest side.
Yeah, everybody's headed that direction. I was just going to ask you about the view of the special shapes from up there.
It's pretty special. It's not very often we get both special shape days in the sky, so I'm really excited to be flying with all these guys and having an absolute blast up here.
Do you have some first-timers with you?
I actually don't. Today I have a really fortunate situation. We have two crew members that have been crewing for over 27 years, and they are a father and son. And Tanner actually had his first crew flight in the womb, is what they say.
Oh, wow. So he's been flying for more than all of his life.
So we're very lucky to have all of our crew members and very fortunate to be able to experience this with them.
Just for those who are listening in, of course, the burn there, Tristan's first job is to fly the balloon and then talk to us after that. So we certainly understand when he lets loose with those birds to keep the balloon in the sky. Where do you think you're going to land up today?
Oh, I'm looking at this beautiful little town called Corrales that is looking great for some landing spots. So that's what I'm hopeful for. We've got our crew headed that direction. I'm really hoping for a splash and dash this morning.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Do you think you'll get in the river? So we'll keep a watch on you as you fly out. We'll continue to look at the balloon cam video. And be sure and give us a heads up before you go in the river so that we can bring that to our folks online and those watching us later on. So we're going to let you go and fly the balloon. Thanks, Tristan McLean and the Exxon Mobil balloon. We'll keep watching. Have a safe flight.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Great working with Tristan and bringing the balloon cam pictures and audio directly from the balloon, letting you experience what it's like And hopefully they'll get in the river today, and
Let's
we'll
hope
be
so,
able
yeah.
to see a splash and dash from a balloonist perspective.
And when we say Balloon Fiesta Live powered by ExxonMobil, we mean that literally, because that was our pilot, our sponsor pilot in the ExxonMobil balloon, Tristan, chatting with us live. That's something we've not been able to do except for the past few years that we've had Balloon Fiesta Live on the air. This being our 5th anniversary, by the way.
It is.
I'm still waiting on them to bring us a birthday cake. I'm sure someone in catering is working on that.
I'm sure it is. They're waiting till the end to make sure we get to the end of it.
Maybe tomorrow at the awards banquet we can just let everybody eat cake.
Well, there you go. So the field is now mostly clear of spectators. Our poles are being set up. Our other targets are being set up, which means it's time for me to move from here to down there.
That's right. Yeah, you need to unplug and then replug in when you get down to there. We, as always with competition, we'll take, Art will jump off the roof. Actually, he'll walk down the stairway, maybe even take the elevator, but he'll go downstairs and get with our remote camera crew, and they will head out to the scoring area, and we'll be there to bring us all of the competition activity from right down amongst the targets, which was great fun. The other day, he was almost getting pelted with markers falling from the sky for our competition balloons. Speaking of sky, there is the Big Sky balloon. This is a brand new balloon that is promoting the brand new TV series Big Sky on ABC. And you can see it directly overhead center field right now. Blues on the bottom and top, white banner around the center, and you see the Big Sky logo and the ABC logo there. Johnny Petrin is flying the Big Sky balloon for us here this week. Cool beans, high overhead just above the rooftop studio. Ken Tatalini is above us now and moving his way back out toward the northwest, catching that flow, as many of the balloons are. Down lower, Big Sky again coming back across. Yeah, you might need a microphone while you're out there, boy. I mean, I know you can talk, but you might need that headset. So Big Sky is working its way across the field. I don't know that, I know Richard Saban has been flying competition all week, and I see his racing balloon dropping down rapidly on the west side of the field. It's a racing balloon. By racing balloon, we're talking about these more football or egg-shaped oblong balloons, different from a standard round balloon or teardrop shape. And his balloon is multi-shades of blue blending into white, is Richard Saban. And maybe if I can get the attention of any of the scoring officials, Henry, you're over on the tower. Maybe we can get a signal if the field is in fact open and competition is already underway, because certainly some of the competitors are arriving. I don't have, actually, well, Art did leave radios up here, but I'm not sure I have radio communication with them to find that out. But clearly, I think some of the competitors yesterday, usually we have a nice long break, not long, a few minutes, between the end of our morning Fiesta flight activity and then the start of competition. Yesterday, that break was very, very short, and that may be the case this morning, because I already see a couple of the racers that I know have been flying competition out over the field. The yellow racer with the red, or rather the blue and pink spiral, it looks like, doing a little turning vent action, rotating the balloon around there in the field. And then, as I said, Richard Saban a little higher up in his racing balloon. So I'm not, honestly, as I say, I'm not certain if the field is open for competition just yet or not. Art will find out when he's down on the field. So it certainly appears that the first of our competitor balloons are arriving at the field. Yep, here's one of the Hartzell balloons, the Texas Racer balloons they're called. They're royal blue with a field of stars around the equator, and then the black and white checkered bands around top and bottom. There are 3 of those balloons because Father Joe and sons Lucas and Rhett are all 3 flying virtually identical balloons. 2 are identical. 1 doesn't have the silver lining around the stars. That's the only thing that makes it distinctive from the others, and the first of them is over the field. So and I see the Remax balloon out there, that blue and yellow spiral balloon. So these are all some of the early competitors that are arriving on field, on target. Just as I say, right now, I don't know if in fact the targets are open for scoring, but I'm sure the pilots know, or should know, and clearly our officials know. That one pole, there are 5 poles out there again today. Part of the day's activities is to drop a ring, that little hula hoop we showed you earlier, around the pole. And any pilot that does so, if you're the sole ring on the pole, you win the full $2,000, each pole worth $2,000, for a total of $10,000 in prize money out there today. If more than one pilot gets their ring on the pole, then those pilots will split that $2,000. So while we're figuring out what's happening with competition on the feed, on our video wall here at the field, and those of you watching online, as we told you, a lot of the balloons taking that northwesterly track out to the Rio Grande, and indeed it's splash and dash time. There are some splashes and dashes and Donners and Blitzens, oh my, going on out on the Rio Grande River this morning, or the Rio Grande, depending on how you choose to pronounce it. You say potato, I say potato, and so on. So the Rio Grande, or the Rio Grande, is the target for a lot of our early flyers this morning. Quite an assemblage of special shapes, many more than yesterday, are all lining the eastern edge of the field. The Cowboy is down there, Sunny Boy is there. I see the Witch, I see the Bees. And our little raccoon balloon is down there as well. Up here on the south end is the Sloth. Peg Leg Pete, the golf ball we talked about last night during the glow, is just now beginning to hot inflate and stand up. Striker, the soccer ball, is stood up nice and tall here at the south end of the field. So quite an array of special shapes, and that naturally is where all of the crowd has virtually moved to as we've cleared the field for the beginning of the competition, and the crowd now all along the flagging that marks off the scoring zone for the pilots. As we continue to watch a very slow flow of balloons. A few of these balloons, that red, yellow, and blue balloon with the vertical checkered stripes, they've been flying competition. The blue balloon with the yellow Zia down there, I think, is one of our competitive balloons. The Hartzell balloon, whichever that is, Joe or Rhett, we think Lucas is flying the one without the silver, so this one has that silver outline around the star, so we're thinking that would be Joe or Rhett. They've kind of boxed up and moved more to the center of the field. They're descending a bit now, very slowly, coming back down, so trying to line up on the targets that are on the field. So I can only assume that the field is open for competition, and the first of the competitors are arriving. Many of them, it looks like, will approach from the southeast in that general flow that's moving southeast to northwest. But the winds are still extremely light, meaning very slow progress for any of the balloons, whether they were part of the early group flying away or some of the competitive balloons just now beginning to fly in toward the field. Hartzell didn't like where he was descending, so he's climbing back up now, gaining a little altitude, trying to adjust his track just a little bit. Yesterday we had 3 pilots get onto our cash poles. One pilot on there by himself. On another one, the 2 pilots will split the poles. The other poles were not rung yesterday. So we have all 5 poles out again today. in addition to a traditional marker target that'll be the pilots will be throwing markers at to score points for the overall championship, which Art and I will be announcing here tomorrow. This is, again, just the second of our Rodeo Glodio days, and it's the rodeo half of the program where the Special Shapes inflate, and if they choose flyaway, many, as always, choosing to stay static here on the field, giving the crowd a great photo op and an opportunity to walk around and visit with the balloons up close and personal. Tonight, again, will be our second Special Shapes Glodio, which will be a balloon glow with only the special shape balloons participating. Here comes Hartzell of amongst our competitive balloons, dropping back down again. The balloon is descending. Again, we're talking about that Texas Racer, they're called, the blue balloon with the field of stars around the equator and the black and white racing stripes. Well, he started at descent, got to about the same altitude as earlier, and now seems to have stopped. So taking an assessment of where he is in the sky in relation to the target, which way the balloon is moving, and trying to decide, does he want to go ahead and continue to descend, or will he climb back up and try to adjust the pattern just one more time. Good morning, fellas. Team Skytrax, Fast Tracks. I keep saying that. Team Fast Tracks coming up to get their antenna set up, ready for their jumps today. They will be jumping as usual at 5 p.m. today. Their daylight jump, where they bring down that 5,000 square feet of freedom, the giant American flag. And then they will be jumping again tonight following our Special Shapes Glodio at about 7:30 this evening with their pyrotechnic jump. So a couple of the team just arriving and setting up all of the technical equipment, the antenna, etc., that allows us to capture those live video shots from the helmet cam inside the jump plane, and of course outside once they have begun to make their descent under canopy. That'll be happening again 5 o'clock this evening, and again about 7:30 tonight. The 5 o'clock jump, again, just so you know, we do not broadcast live. We record that and then play it back live when we sign on the air at 6 p.m. So on our feed, speaking of that, our intrepid pilot Tristan with the ExxonMobil balloon is on the river and is about to attempt a splash and dash. We'll see, we'll watch and see how that goes. See if Tristan can get feet wet, as we would say, with the balloon sitting just in the water. The perfect splash and dash, we lost the signal, unfortunately. In a perfect splash and dash, you put just the skids of the balloon into the water, and the balloon will literally float or sail along the surface of the water. In a bad splash and dash, you and your passengers all end up getting your feet, and sometimes up to your knees or worse, wet if you sink a little too much of the balloon into the water. Doing a splash and dash is, it's not the easiest thing to do, because as you're descending through the air in the balloon over water, you tend to lose depth perception. So it really takes a bit of skill to know just when to round out the balloon, round out the descent, and let the basket just touch, just make a little splash on the top or the surface of the water and not sink down to your knees. All right, we have Art and established a communication with him on the field. The competitors are on their way in, a lot of them coming from the southeast flow. Above me, I see Steve Jones, and I see the second and third of the Hartzell balloons. Art, I'm going to step away for a minute and let you take over down on the field.
Can we get closer? All righty, Glenn, thanks a lot. We just did get down here on the field, and we just, as we were walking out here and Tristan was doing his splash and dash, we saw Joe Hartzell drop pretty much dead center on the center of the X. What we have out here are 5 poles and 2 X's. And so we've got 3 poles, 1 on the road, 1 on either side, and then about maybe a little less than 100 yards north of that, we have the other 2 poles. So the field is set up exactly as it was yesterday, with the poles and then as well as 2 X's. And I'm looking, and there already appears to be 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 markers on the West X already. So there's already been a number of competitors come through here, and they're literally still trying to get the flagging up around the scoring area. Some of the balloons that we saw take off earlier, because they are able to box around, have come back through here. Humpty Dumpty is back through here. I've seen a number of the others come back as well. So competition is definitely underway, and right now here on the field, the direction is from the northeast to the southwest. So whatever direction they are taking off and flying, when they get down low into the competition area, it is going to be from the northeast to the southwest. So we'll be seeing them come across, attempt to put the ring on one of those poles, and then go for the X, which means I think the X on the west side is probably going to be the busy place. The one on the east side, you're going to have to almost drop in over the top of the special shapes. And what a great view it is of all those special shapes sitting here watching the competition. But I think the pilots will aim, at least early on while the shapes are still standing, will attempt to get to the West X. It just seems like it might be a better, little more room, little more area to be able to fly in. But they are definitely already dropping in, and it's going to be fast and furious out here, or at least quick and exciting might be a better way to call what is actually happening out here. As I mentioned, I see Joe Hartzell has already been on the target. He's just managed to land south of the field, and Sunflyer is over there as well. And there was just a ring dropped from the black balloon with the rainbow equator. And so we're going to kind of try and keep track of all of it with 5 poles and 2 X's, 7 places to watch. We'll do the best we can out here with 1 camera, and we'll just continue to bring all of that to you. I think we want to turn around and take a look at Sol Air, one of the racers. He has been in the competition as we've at the top of the level in the competition. So we're going to keep an eye on him coming in. Farmers Insurance is going to be off to the west side. I see Blair Kaufman in his Stars and Stripes balloon, red, white, and balloon. And actually this black one right overhead, he's going to be off from the X. We won't worry about that one. Pat Fogue in the IMTS balloon still heading to the northwest. But as I've mentioned, you'll be able to drop down and come back to the south. He's going to the northwest. He'll drop down, go to the southwest as he makes kind of a left-hand turn. There's the dropping of the IMTS balloon. It's up the white one over there, if you're just below Snowbird. But we're kind of, like I said, watching a whole bunch of balloons come at us. Solaire looks like might be getting a line on the middle pole. And we'll watch Pat Fogue drop in behind. It's kind of low. So he's going to be north of that center pole. Got a couple of, I think he's going to be south of that pole. Have one of our official photographers right out there by him. The direction just shifted a little bit more from the southwest to more of a west-southwest. We've talked all morning that this is going to be a light and variable type of day, and while the breeze has picked up just a little bit down here on the field, it continues to change. Very narrow layers. Even the flip-flop fantasy balloon, which took off from the south end of the field not very long ago, has managed to box back around. Now, to be in the competition, he would have had to have launched 1 mile, at least 1 mile away from the field. So this is just kind of bragging rights to be able to get back here. If he does attempt to throw a marker, it will not be scored. So, of course, as soon as I said that they're all going to throw on the X on the west side of the field, we have a mostly black with yellow, blue, white, and maroon coming right over the X on the east side of the field. There's the marker throw, and it's about 3 feet from the center of the X. Nice throw. So a little excitement in that balloon after having a nice throw. We did notice the momentum of the balloon, though. We talked about this throughout competition over the last couple of days. As the balloon is moving and you drop the marker is going to continue that momentum, that movement, if you will, before gravity officially takes over and makes it drop straight down. So you actually want to let loose of that marker before you get to the X. And so as you're coming in, you don't want to be over the center of the X. You want to be before that to let go so that you compensate for that momentum. It went a little bit past the center of the X. So dropping that a second or two sooner would have even given him even a better score. But a great throw by the black racer with the big old putty cat on the side of it. So we're watching the LMTS balloon come in, as well as the teal with the pinks and oranges and purples separating the teal. Steve Jones over on the east side, yellow at the top with orange at the bottom. He's another one that might make the East X. Coming in nice and low. Nice and slow. One more burn to keep from hitting the ground. Did he throw the marker? I looked away for a second. Doesn't look like it. We'll see. Yeah, we did not. Just had a ring toss by our teal one with the other colors. Did not go over the pole. Pat Fogue in the LMTS balloon might have a good shot at that far west pole. Looks like he's going to be this side of it. So 2 tasks out here this morning. Attempt to put your ring over the pole and win cash. And to throw your marker on either the East X or the West X as part of our overall competition. So LMTS, Pat Fogue, he was winding up. Let's see what he gets. They're both winding up. There's Pat's throw. The teal marker much closer, the teal balloon much closer. Another wind up. And right inside the legs of the X. So 2 more scores.
Just so you know, Art, if you look above you, the Fiesta balloon is descending and Steve Jones is making a descent down to the target zone. Steve in the little yellow balloon, yellow top with orange around the bottom. The Fiesta balloon, the bright yellow balloon, obviously with the Fiesta logo just above it. And Terry Dillard, heard you talking about him in flip-flop fantasies. He's not a competitor, but he's out there flying with them.
so Ray Bear from the Fiesta balloon has just thrown his marker, as did Steve Jones. Steve was, I thought, closer to the east marker, popped up, went to the west marker. There's the windup, and get your marker caught in the... Got it. Did they get the ring? So the spiral with the white, black, orange, red, yellow, green. Can't quite read the banner. Looks like it ends in 2. Appears to have gotten the pole on the far west side. And Ray Bear in the Fiesta balloon, after throwing his marker towards the X, has gone high and has gone back north. I think he's going to make another attempt. We have a Hartzell on the ring.
Outstanding.
No silver. That would be Lucas. Phillips 66. Brad Rice flying Phillips 66 coming in behind Lucas. Lucas actually has someone in the basket with him. That's kind of unusual for those guys to fly with someone in the basket with them. As you can see, Glenn, the direction of the balloons right here on the deck is now from the northeast to the southwest. And you don't have to be very high to take your balloon from the southeast to the northwest. So there's a definite right or left turn up there as you come down, right turn as you go up.
Joe Zavada is beginning to make his approach on top of you or above you there, Art, in the black and yellow spiral with the silver accents. Joe is a perennial
these
top
guys that
competitor.
are dropping in from high above.
Boy,
yeah,
look,
these guys that are dropping in from above. Yeah, he's right here, Tommy.
And look at Soler. Sean Ray really beginning to make a descent from on high.
And he's already made one pass here as well.
Well, I would say, judging from the rate of his descent, he's pretty much determined to make a second pass.
Oh, yeah. Almost 180 degrees different from Joe, so we're trying to watch Joe. Yep.
If you can't,
so there was Joe's throw.
If you can't see the Soler name on the balloon, it's blue around the bottom, green in the center, and then yellow-orange on top with black and white accents. He's actually, Sean has slowed his descent now as he's reached about the midpoint over the field. But he was coming down quite rapidly.
And now he's in that layer that's still moving more west and not so much south.
High overhead, not in the competition, but Splash, one of our Penguin balloons, is working its way south to north. Now just turning and beginning to flow back out a little bit to the northwest, but it's just up over the Gondola Club and the south end of the field here. Just beginning to turn around where we can see it. Johnny Petrin in Big Sky. We talked about him very early as we were just setting up competition. Has gone all the way across the field, and now he's descending over Main Street and working his way back in toward the center of the field, coming that direction. The Civil Air Patrol balloon also above me, just to my right, red, white, and blue, is working his way into the field. Guy Gauthier is out there too in his bright orange balloon with the purple bands and then the multicolored equator. So more competitors coming to you, Art.
Yeah, and even those that come by one time are coming by a second and a third time. They just keep coming. And while most of them are coming from the northeast, we see them get up and then just all of a sudden drop out of the sky to get here quickly. We're just kind of looking all over the place, trying to keep up with everybody. So we just keep watching one of the other Hartzels. Let's see. Lucas is up there. Joe's down there. That would be Rhett coming at us then. And I'm keeping an eye on this orange one with the orange equator, vertical stripes with the other green and blue colors. Looks like he's going to come past that center pole. But he's still trying to work to get to it.
And don't look now, but to the northeast, there is Guilty, a balloon that you are vastly familiar with.
I'm trying not to look. Yep. They've got the ring in hand right here at that center pole. There's the toss over the top. Does not come down on the pole.
I see Mark Sullivan out there in his Red Alert racer, the red balloon with the spiral of black, white, red, and yellow. He's at the far north
yes,
end of the
as
field.
is Jerry Graff in the Mission Linen balloon.
Yep, I can see them as well.
And Dave Eichhorn. Dave Eichhorn and Marauders Mark flying the Visit Albuquerque banner. Mark could easily get to one of these poles.
You know, it's interesting because now
we saw the ring toss of this one.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, well, okay, I'll go. I was going to say, it's interesting because when I first started watching the competitors, they were moving basically southeast to northwest across the field, and they were making their approach as they crossed the field. Now it looks more like many of them are drifting slowly south to get down into that northeast corner, and then they're taking a hard left and coming northeast to southwest across the field to you.
So it just slowed down here on the field.
It can't get any slower. Sean Rea has skied way back high. He's higher than any other balloon in our vicinity at the moment, way up above the field. So he obviously didn't like where he was and has really gone back up into the clouds. He's not in the clouds, but he's back up there very high, trying to adjust his position before he probably comes down again.
That would be pass number 3. We want to keep an eye both on Mission Linen, the yellow balloon on the west side, and Mark Sullivan and the red with the spiral racer. He's coming down the road.
Mark looks like he's almost...
And we have a Hartzell dropping in behind Mark.
Yeah, Mark looks like he's almost on the ground. He's got to be just inches off the deck.
Yeah, eyeball level would be about the top of his basket.
So about 4 to 5 feet off the ground then at most.
Yes. We're going to see what his tactic is here. He's obviously going to have to go up to get to the top of the pole to put a ring over it.
Well, if you slide up against the pole, you know, then it's easy just to go up a little bit to get to where you can reach out with that ring.
You just hope you don't slide off the side before you get to the top.
Yes, yeah.
So we can keep an eye on Mark here because Jerry Graff in Mission Linen has gone high to try another pass. So here's Mark starting to go up a little bit.
He's got to have a bead right on that center pole, it looks like.
But remember, the direction is off to the southeast, so he's already off that line a little bit that he had, just 4 feet lower.
Southeast or southwest? Looks to me like he's moving more west.
I'm sorry. Southwest, you're correct, sorry.
Okay, just checking.
But you see, he was 4 feet off the ground coming directly south down the road.
Yeah, straight at
and
the
as
pole.
soon as he got 6, 7 feet in the air, he went off. He started moving off to the west. We got a whole line coming in right behind him, though.
One of which is guilty, the yellow balloon with the handlebar mustache, is Eric Wells in that crowd.
I'm not saying anything. We've got another Barnes Firefly balloon, mostly orange, a little bit of the spiral, who will probably get to the pole before that other balloon. And then we have the red, white, and blue with the white stars. I think we called that one as Frank Anger yesterday. So we just watch as they slowly attempt to maneuver. So passing across to the west, a little bit north of the pole, but we watch the red, white, and blue one, who is still east of the pole coming in.
That racer behind guilty with the black and white spiral, and I believe that's Big Bubba. That would be Chris Cliver.
So a throw from the red, white, and blue balloon low, trying to throw high. Didn't quite make it to the pole, or certainly not high enough. And the balloon that I'm not mentioning is going to apparently go between the poles.
Well, I was going to say Mark Sullivan rather, continues to slide further and further west across the field through the scoring zone.
So I have CAP, the Civil Air Patrol balloon, and Big Sky off to the east side. And actually, Johnny and Big Sky and CAP, for that matter, have a direct line to the target on the west.
And I was wrong. That balloon, that racer that's now climbing above that crowd that you're in with the black and white spiral is the balloon called Candy Corn, and that is Travis Gauthier from Waterford, Michigan. Has kind of a reverse spiral, the black and white spiraling right to left, and then the colors underneath, reds, yellows, and oranges with maybe a little dark blue. That is the balloon Candy Corn.
Look at this. Both Big Sky and CAP are 3 feet off the ground. Civil Air Patrol is moving faster than Big Sky. Same size balloons, same distance off the field, and here they come. So Will is just thrown back on the target on the east side. Hi, guys. Jessica and Will in the CAP balloon. Things have just changed again. More west. Hey, no ground contact over there, Sam. Is that considered ground tact when you fist bump the pilot? Hi, Johnny.
Nick Donner making his way to you. Nick is in that burnt orange racer with the black, white, silver, and then orange diamonds around the side. Nick flies the emoji balloon normally during our non-competitive flights, but in competition he switches to his racer. Nick is a 5-time U.S. national champion and a past world champion.
So we watched him come down towards the pole, and then that's exactly when the wind changed a little bit more. The direction to the southwest is certainly much more west now. Look at these guys just kind of hanging over here on the west side of the field. All the way from Big Sky to Frank and his red, white, and blue balloon to that one I'm not talking about.
The balloon whose name will not be mentioned.
Just hanging here. Not by me. Not today. I don't want to be guilty.
Wow, that is the most magnificent fur coat I think I have ever seen. The guy just walking downstairs past our rooftop studio in a brilliant fur coat. Wow.
So Nolan Schuler is out here in his blue with the white, yellow, and yellow and red and white. And we have some balloons who have decided they were moving too far west, and they have taken advantage of landing on the north end of the field. The Wonder being one of them, the blue racer with the KRQE banner on it. That looks like Phil, Cathy, and Skittles with the yellow at the top and the green and other colors coming down. So as things have changed here, we see more maneuvering going up high as folks continue to adjust their line to attempt to predict the next pass into the field. The blue one?
Red, yellow, white, blue one.
Yeah, it looks to me like maybe Bob Pulaski has landed there on the north end of the field. His balloon is that yellow one with the blue panels and then the red verticals. Looks like he's actually touched down there on the north end of the field. I thought he was coming across the target, but I believe he's landed.
Yes, we're starting to get a number of balloons out on the north end. The blue one with the ducks around it has landed on the north end as well.
Sean Rea, meanwhile, in the Solaire balloon, went way sky high and has moved all the way back over to the east, where he's out probably almost up over I-25, along both east and south of the field here, right at the south end of the field.
So like I mentioned, they're kind of repositioning themselves in the sky. Most of the ones that are down on the field right now seem to be off to the west of the targets. The yellow balloon may have a great throw on the X, but he's definitely south of the poles now. Of course, that doesn't mean you can't go back up and make another pass today, because we've already watched 2 or 3 of them do that, and some of them are back up on a 3rd and 4th pass.
Yeah, well, I can see Joe Zavada has gone sky high and moved back to the east. I'm sorry, you were going to talk about Nick Donner, I think.
Yeah, he's continuing to work the poles. He's still got poles south of him.
Well, and the balloon that shall not be mentioned has not landed yet either. He's still in the air working it a bit.
He's working the X.
Okay. I was going to say, though, Joe Zavada and Solaire and one of the Hartzels have all gone sky high and moved back over to the east to try and set up another approach, I believe.
I'm just watching Zarek burner, vent, trying to make that balloon adjust positions here, not depend on just the wind, but attempt to get some other help from the balloon going up and down, creating its own wind to try and do something. It's the same thing that Nick Donner is doing in the orange balloon with the black and white checkerboard.
Well, if you're emulating Nick Donner, you can't go wrong. As I said, Nick is a 5-time national champion and a past world champion as well.
And Civil Air Patrol just kind of hanging on the south end of the field. And just to the west of the yellow racer balloon that I'm not mentioning the name of is the Psionic.com balloon. That's Mike Voorhees. He's from here in Albuquerque. He was showing me he's got a new 360 camera he's carrying on his balloon. He's got some really fabulous pictures from that camera this year.
Wow. And by the way, congratulations to Nick Donner. He posted on Facebook yesterday or day before, he just got engaged here at Balloon Fiesta to his partner. So congratulations to him.
Did he do it in the balloon? Did he pop the question there?
You know, I wasn't clear about that. On the, there was a picture of the two of them in the balloon. I'm not sure if he actually popped the question in the balloon or not, but still proud and happy for Nick.
Yes, congratulations to Nick and his intended. This orange and brown Firefly balloon on the west side, John Pata's gold. John has been a safety official here at Balloon Fiesta for a number of years and decided to take a year off from being an official and to get back in the air as a balloon pilot.
Well, that's one thing we don't mention a lot.
He just did a descent like he's coming in after that pole.
We don't mention that very often, but a lot of our launch directors, our Zebras, are in fact local pilots who give up the opportunity to fly here at Balloon Fiesta in order to serve their fellow pilots by helping with the safety of the launch as a Zebra.
So now the two racers we've been watching, the yellow one and the orange one, Nick and Zarek, they've both decided it's time to go up and attempt to readjust. We've got a blue one with some black and white coming across the northeast part of the field. Oh, I thought there were just two X's out here. So I'm not sure how it scores when you throw an X, your marker, at the pole.
Well, I suppose it would be scored to the nearest X.
Yes, that's what will happen. Although I guess if you could impale your marker on the top of the pole, you might get an honorable mention. That or totally disqualified, one of the two.
Well, you might get an honorable mention in 0 points, I would think. That might happen.
All right, so I mentioned Mike Voorhees in the black balloon on the west side. He is now able to go back towards the north, only about 40 feet, maybe not even that, above the ground. So he's coming at that pole from the south. And attempts the frisbee throw, which ends up short. We still have a sky full of balloons, though. Yeah, I see Chick-fil-A back at the south side of the field.
Yeah,
Craig Kennedy getting back to the field.
Meant to mention them earlier when they were down here at our end of the field.
Think he's bringing you any chicken nuggets?
I doubt it. Or chicken soup.
I'd go for the spicy chicken deluxe sandwich, as be mine. And I said that it had calmed down. Now things have definitely almost stopped. I'm looking at the flags on the far west side of the field, and there is no wind, very little wind in those flags. Again, we saw Mike Voorhees going back to the north. We're walking balloons to the south, but we're going to have another change of direction right here on the field. And we still have another 30 minutes or so before the targets close. So we'll have to see if they can find a way over the field to be able to come back and go back towards the north. We heard Brad Tiemeyer say earlier today that those balloons who were up and a little on the early side might have more direction, and that might be setting up now. We'll have to wait and see, but there still seems to be a whole lot of direction up there. You just have to find it and be in it at the right time to get where you want to go.
That one blue balloon coming towards you, blue in the center and then white and black accents around the top and bottom. I think I've identified that as the blue ball, and that would be Jesse Naylor from Albuquerque. But the picture in our spotting chart, the blue in the center is much lighter. But now that I look at the picture, it doesn't actually match, so I might be wrong on that. I've scanned all the blue balloons that I could find in our list, and I don't see that one envelope. This one is close, but I think
there's
maybe
about
not the
three
same cigar.
balloons that look very similar to that one now. There is one called Jaws, there is this one, and there is a third one. I'm not quite close enough to read the banner number. Looks like it might be 99.
Let me check that. I can find banner numbers quickly, quicker than I can scroll and find. Well, I could. Now the spotter has gone bonkers on me. Back out and get back into it. Oop, if I can, try again.
So here's a marker coming from way high. The yellow balloon at the bottom, regular size, moving. The north area, just hit the ground. Looks like he also threw his ring. It's going to I'm going to get rid of these marker devices so I don't have to return them to scoring. Scoring will have to go out and pick them up.
Yeah, my spotter's doing something bonkers. It says the app now only works in landscape. Please rotate your iPad. Well, I'm in landscape mode, and so I'm not sure why that's. I was trying to search that banner number.
Go to the drop down in the upper left-hand corner, go down to layout and choose iPad. Jerry Copus with the waste management banner, the big white equator, other colors at the bottom. He's making a quick descent into the north end of the field. Nick Donner is almost directly overhead at probably 1,500 feet.
Well, it's not banner 99.
Still lots of directions up there.
Because banner 99 is Steve Jones.
Okay.
The waste management team is dropping in on you. And that is Jerry Copus.
That's Jerry Copus, right?
Yep, that is.
Well, the blue one we were trying to figure out who it is has now landed on the field.
Okay, well then I won't try and figure out who it is anymore.
And the other balloon that's kind of in front of that one to your view, black at the top, blue, orange, and yellow in the middle.
Yep.
We have launch directors with hands on that basket, so they're moving it farther north on the north side of the field.
So they've landed
too. So it has, in effect, landed.
Yep. So I see Sherry White in her racing balloon in the northeast corner of the field. I can't tell if she's landed there or still airborne, but bright white equator with the bands of primary colors around the top and bottom. Looks like maybe
she's on the ground.
Okay, I was going to say it looks like it.
Rocket the Flying Squirrel and Mr. Winkle. Yeah, she is on the ground.
Okay. What about the blue balloon?
I see some of our globitos actually inflating right behind the chainsaw carving guys.
Oh, cool. The globitos are those miniature radio control balloons we've been talking about a lot this week. I see, let's see, red is for girls, blue is for boys. So that must be Splash that has landed the penguin balloon up by the Chili Ristra along Special Shapes Row.
Yes, they're walking it a little bit farther down, but it has landed, as has Chick-fil-A. Mr. Z still up. Party, the golf ball. Albert Einstein, I see all those. They're deflating the Chili Ristra. Chicky Boom is still up. Infamous Foot is still up.
Cutie Dink is down here with us, the dead cat.
Okay. I don't know if we can see the globitos out there, but the Fiesta balloon and the A Little Guilty, two of the globitos that are flying out there by the chainsaw carving area.
I can see Little Guilty from here, and then to its left is there one that's, oh yeah, they're on the screen now. Or if I'd look at my feed, I'm too used to looking at real balloons. And you can see two or three. There's a little blue and white one. It looks like that's out there as well. Several of the globitos are inflated down there along the area by the chainsaws.
Well, actually, they come pretty. They actually come pretty far to the west as well.
Yeah.
So there's a red, white, and blue one, mostly white, and with the red equator. There's another one inflating there. I see an orange one out there. I already mentioned the Fiesta balloon, a spiral balloon farther east. So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like 9 of them out there already this morning.
And we had a total of about 30 to 32, I think we said earlier this week. So that's maybe about a third of them that are out there this morning.
And we may see more as the morning goes on. Again, the wind conditions, the weather conditions, supposed to be very nice throughout the morning. And they may set up even farther in once our competition ends today.
They're actually walking the penguin balloon down here to the south end of the field. Looks like he's going to take down here on the south end of the field. He's got some launch directors and officials with him, walking him along the field there. Mr. Z is now taking down. Chick-fil-A has landed in this area here in the south. The infamous Foot is still standing up. Used to be the famous footwear balloon some years ago. Wow, down there in the northeast corner, I can see Solaire again. So he's gone all the way up high, boxed all the way back to the east. Now has come all the way down, and he's just at low level back out over the northeast corner of the field.
Yes, and if you look to the south and high, you'll see Ken Drawn in his yellow with the chain link, and even higher, the red and white Bolt balloon. So there is still an approach coming in from the south, while Solaire, you just mentioned, coming back from the other way.
Yeah.
So
Ken Drawn's right here to my
him?
left. Yeah, I see Ken coming in now. Yes. Nick Donner is also sky high, as is the balloon that shall not be named, is gone back up high. Ken's moving too far to the west, though. He's in that flow that's southeast to northwest, trying to come down and see if he can get a little more of an easterly flow into the field. And there's one of the old Thunder and Colt factory balloons. The yellow balloon with the multicolored stair step on it, and then the row of little small balloons. That used to be one of the Thunder and Colt factory demos. Here comes the Bolt.
I see that Bolt, the red and blue one. Yep. I see he's now gotten that west as well.
Yeah, he's trying to punch through it as he falls down pretty rapidly. Ken Drawn actually going back up just a little bit, and the Bolt is slowing his descent. But they're both trying to work their way into the target. Ken's doing a little bit of what Zarek and Nick Donner were doing earlier. Go up just a few feet and then vent and come back down just a few and try to create a little momentum, just doing a little hopscotching there, if you will. Ken coming back down now. Bolt stopped his descent.
Very thin layers up there that go different directions. I'm watching some of the balloons over on the east side as they attempt that, and then I turn over to see where Ken and Bolt happen to be. And so, yeah, everybody's kind of checking everybody else out, who's going what direction where. I'm watching one of the racers here. There's actually a layer that will get you north fairly quickly, but then if you get out of that layer, everything kind of stops again.
Just over to the southeast, up high, Cameron Wall in his balloon that has the seascapes that were painted by his grandmother. And then another balloon we've talked a lot about this weekend, the teal balloon with the pink and yellow verticals. They just kissed up there at altitude. You rarely find that happen at altitude. That's usually something that happens when two balloon envelopes touch down closer to the surface. But I just did a moment ago see them smack each other up high. Ken Drawn is getting some south and just the tiniest bit of east, working in toward the center of the field, just barely moving east, but more, not south, I'm sorry, moving more north, as is the Bolt, flying just a little bit lower than him. Ken beginning to descend again now, really just gauging and changing his altitude by just a few feet, not even the length of the balloon. Ken's descending now, maybe a little further down.
Not too far from Cameron and Miss Shenanigans, I see Joe Zabata and two of the Hartzels up high.
Yep, I can see them
Wondering
as well.
if they're planning on making yet another pass.
Guy Gauthier is still up there, and Guy's not made a single pass yet, I don't believe. I've seen him maneuvering up there, but never saw him come down to the target. Nick Donner is high, virtually center of the field, up high in his orange racing balloon. Ken Drawn going back up, and then
Nick
now
is
venting.
He is directly overhead from where I am standing.
Okay. Now we've got another little balloon works coming in behind us from the south. Kind of a yellow at the skirt, and then oranges and pinks with a teal chevron pattern around the center of the balloon. They've sort of appeared from nowhere, coming
The
up
Charlie
over our head.
Brown looking shirt, yep.
Yeah, kind of a Charlie Brown looking shirt in orange and pinks rather than yellow and brown. Ken Drawn seems to be doing fairly well, working his way, I think, to one of the X's over there on the west side of the field.
He's got a ways to go, but yes, the direction looks good, and Bolt is now matching that direction, although, of course, Bolt a little bit farther to the west. But
yeah.
This is one of those be patient days.
That little balloon works is the Charlie Brown replica, as we called him, is just kind of dropping in between Ken and the Bolt.
And see how much faster north the Charlie Brown looking balloon is moving than those other two?
Yep.
It's a couple 100 feet higher and definitely moving much faster to the north. But there is just a hint of west in that north, so you don't really want to get up in that if you're trying to stay east.
And by the way, our Charlie Brown balloon is actually Sundog, and that is Thane Peterson from Linden, Utah, flying what we were calling the Charlie Brown balloon, that little balloon that is, well, just the easiest way to identify it is that teal chevron or zigzag right around the equator of the balloon. All three of them descending now. He, the Bolt, and Ken Drawn. Ken is rounded out and stopped again. And are we closing at 9:30 this morning?
Yeah,
is that the time?
Again, that up and down. I believe so. That's
okay.
About 17 minutes from now.
So some of these guys up high are going to have to start thinking about getting down.
Let's watch these guys. At least down if they're going to be successful in today's competition.
Yeah, if they're going to try and score.
Because it is still so slow here. Yeah. So Sundog basically has stopped, gotten down to the altitude that Ken drawn in the yellow with the chain link and bolt, the red and blue with the white bolt through it. In fact, it looks like Sundog is actually starting to go back to the south. We have another regular sized balloon coming down over on the northeast side of the field. Yellow at the bottom, it's kind of the zigzag. It's not really a zigzag, but it's that angular pattern.
Yep,
with the yellows at the bottom going up through the blues, purples, pinks. Yeah, there's a lot of balloons up there that I don't believe are going to actually get here to the field before the target closes. Got 3 or 4 who continue to work it. Sundog now has a little bit of east, northeast in its direction. Keep trying to figure out who to watch here. Let's get these guys this way. Because Ken is coming down, is going to attempt something, the yellow one with the chain link. So Ken has his marker out. He's got the windup going. And there's the throw. There's a little bit of a hill here, so I can't actually see the X fabric, but at least he got there.
That other round balloon, the standard shaped balloon you were talking about, that has the yellow around the bottom and the teals, the blues, pinks, and oranges, that is Prairie Sunset, and that is Patrick Lloyd out of Wichita, Kansas. He's up over the north end of the field. Is he actually trying to get to the target, or to me he might be looking for a spot to land over there? He looks at the moment like he stopped. Cameron Wall is beginning to make an approach, perhaps. He's in that balloon we've mentioned several times this week, that has the seascapes that were painted by his grandmother and then printed and built into a balloon by Kubitschek Balloons. He's making a pretty strong descent, so I think Art, he's coming in to try to make a run at some kind of score before the scoring time window closes. See, he's dropping right in the center of the field.
What? Oh, right here. I've spun around so many times today, I'm not sure where. But yes, Cameron Wall dropping in.
Nick Donner is coming down from up high. Joe Zavada's coming down from up high. A lot of these guys that we talked about, I think they realize that time is beginning to become of the essence, and they're trying to get down here now to make a score. That little teal balloon with the pink and yellow verticals also beginning to try and drop in.
Yeah, now's the time to make your move, make whatever you're going to make happen now. The time for all of the strategic maneuvering is over. Time to get to the tactical piece. Drop in and do what you can.
If you're a NASCAR fan, this is about 2 laps to go, and it's time to go. You got to quit messing around and time to get your way to the front and get in a position to win. And Nick Donner and Joe Zavada and that little teal balloon are all doing that. They're all trying to get down here and get a score in before the clock catches them. And that little teal balloon we keep talking about.
Unfortunately, what's happening, they are Yeah, they're all moving west as they have to punch through that layer that's still going out to the northwest.
Well, Joe's
they're
still
punching
in the
back
field.
through that. Yes, but I think he's, well, yeah, it's going to be really close. He's going to see what happens when he gets by this pole.
Yeah, Nick Donner's out to the west. Miss Shenanigans, that little teal balloon with the pink and yellow, is on its way down. Cameron Wall still hanging
Joe's
out in
gonna
the center
throw.
of the field.
But it's a little short of the pole.
Here comes one of the Hartzels. They're streaming down toward the center of the field and coming at you.
Yep. They're overhead, Tom. You can see how fast the Hartzell is dropping.
Looks like Candy Corn is on its way back down again. That's the black and white spiral with the yellow, orange and blue spiral underneath the black and white. The contraflow spirals, if you will. One spiral going left to right, one going right to left. Here comes the other Hartzell balloon coming down now. Everybody's trying to get in before we close the scoring window.
So, of course, as everybody else comes down, they get a drift to the west. And this is, looks like Benner. It's with the silver on the stars. He did throw the ring, didn't get on the pole. The other Hartzell that's coming in is going to be north of the poles.
Candy Corn is going to be well to the west.
And I don't see a south back. Yeah, that direction to the northwest is still up there. Punching through it, it's kind of a thick layer. So
Yeah.
you have to go through it very fast, but you're still going to get a push to the northwest.
Yeah, you've really got to be.
As you see with Candy Corn
You've really got
and
to
Lucas Hartzell.
Sorry, you've really got to be far off to the east to be able to come down and punch through that layer and still be over the field, not get pushed all the way out to the west. That's what's happened to Candy Corn. They didn't have enough east in their position before they decided to drop in and punch through.
So I see one more. That's the balloon between you and I, the regular shape, kind of the Halloween, the muted Halloween colors of black and orange, a little white and yellow in there. But I don't know that at that direction, at that speed, he's going to get here in the next 9 minutes. Our scoring officials have already started measuring some of the baggies to the X's, especially those much farther out. I told you yesterday that on Tuesday, about half of our competitors actually threw a marker and got a competitive result versus a no result. I started through the results from yesterday, and I think probably more than half of the competitive pilots managed to throw their markers, their baggies on the X's as well. So a very competitive field we have here this year. I would guess that about half made it again today. Couple of other quick descents. I see the green and yellow and black spiral racer coming down. They're far off the north side of the field, northwest side of the field. There's nothing that I see in the wind directions that are going to bring them back. And the only one that we were kind of watching between you and me has just set down on the south end of the field.
Well, and Ken, we've got to make a decision about cutting at 9:30. If it doesn't look like we're going to have any more scores, or as you know, we'll have to go ahead and fill till 10. So give that some thought for a minute or two.
Yeah, I think I've already told them we'll go at 9:30.
Okay.
Even though we will most likely missed the smoke being set off here on the field. You won't really have missed any of the competition. There isn't anybody in the area who I see is going to be able to get to either the X or one of the poles at this point.
I would agree. I think anybody who is going to score has a couple of balloons that are descending look like they're descending to land at the north end. So I think effectively we've seen the last competitor who's going to attempt to make a score.
If you look out to the northwest, you see Miss Shenanigans and Nick Donner are standing on just off the northwest corner of the field. Candy corn is actually deflating out there. That green racer, that green and yellow racer I saw come down, yes, you're right, looking for a landing site out there on the northwest part of the field. You don't want to go very far north because we run into the Sandy and India Pueblo, and they are just a little more cautious about folks landing. There's a few more procedures if you land out there. It's okay to land. There's just a little more to your retrieval process. So if you can land before you get to the Pueblo, you'll want to do that as well.
Yeah, it almost looks from my vantage point, you may not be able to see over the berm, but it looks like Wyoming might have landed right on the edge of the Pueblo. It's still standing, but it's in that area where in years previous, you know, when we could launch off of that little strip of the Pueblo, that's where the balloons would be. And there are a couple of balloons I see that look like they're over in that area. A good time to remind everybody, Art, as we're watching the last few balloons and counting down here to the end of this morning's broadcast, that we will be back again tonight. This was day 2 of our Shapes Rodeos. But we also have tonight another special Shapes Glowdio, the balloon glow with only the special shapes. We'll kick it all off at 5 p.m. with a jump again by Team Fast Tracks. They've already brought their gear and set it up here this morning. Again, that jump happens at 5 p.m. live. That's when they jump with their daylight pyrotechnics, but mostly they bring in that beautiful 5,000 square foot of Freedom American flag. Now that happens live at 5 p.m. We won't broadcast it live at 5. We will actually tape record it, and then we will play it back on a tape delay basis when we sign on the air at 6 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time live tonight. We did get some balloons on the pole, so before we wrap up and say goodbye, Art, you've got the count of how many hit the pole today?
Well, actually, Glenn, we're at the center pole where there are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rings that you can see are not around the pole. So these are the stories. I was there. I was going to get it. It bounced off. Somebody pushed me out of the way. All of those excuses are going to come out for these 8 here. We have the same story on any of the 5 poles. I'm being told we probably have 2 folks that have actually rung the poles, and they were on separate poles, so those pilots will win $2,000 each, in addition to all the targets, the markers that have been dropped on our X's. And so not as many rings around the poles today as yesterday, but certainly a lot of attempts and a lot of great competition, watching them be strategic and tactical, and then last-minute maneuvers to try and get to our targets out here today. Definitely exciting to watch. If you missed any of it, our show is archived. You'll be able to go back and watch it shortly after the conclusion of our live broadcast.
And remember that today was the final day for overall competition, so today's points or today's measurements on the targets will be scored, and all of that will be added into the cumulative totals. Tomorrow at midday, Art and I will be hosting the awards banquet when we will announce the champion and the top finishers of this year's overall competition. A couple of people have asked if the awards banquet is broadcast live. It is not, but it will be videotaped and then shown very shortly after, just like we archive all of our programs. So those of you wanting to watch the awards banquet, it will be online tomorrow, just not happening live. I was about to go into tonight and the rest of the weekend. As I said, we start at 5 o'clock with Team Fast Tracks making their jump at 5 p.m. Again, that is, if you want to see it live, be here in the park, or we will replay it at 6 p.m., shortly after 6 p.m. when we sign on the air live tonight for the next edition of Balloon Fiesta Live. And then, of course, we go into our final weekend. Tomorrow morning, we go back to our Mass Ascension motif with a Mass Ascension tomorrow morning. Then tomorrow evening, our Night Magic Glow and our Farewell Flight, on Sunday morning. Hard to believe we're that close to the end of the 49th Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, and very soon we'll start marking those days in red on the calendar for the upcoming 50th Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. A good time today to do a little shopping. If you're looking for Special Shapes pins, you've seen all the shapes now, and if you've got a favorite, Diane Carlson and Plano Pin Company are the exclusive vendors for the Special Shape pins. They are the official ones with the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta stamp on the back. All the other vendors will be remaining open for a while. A great time to do some shopping along Main Street, get that special souvenir you're looking for, maybe grab a bite to eat. We'll have entertainment on the live stage that you could partake, or you could just hang out in the beautiful sunshine with us here at Balloon Fiesta Park. It has been a magnificent morning here at Balloon Fiesta, the second of our Special Shape Rodeos. Come out and see us tonight for our final Shapes Glodeo. For Art Lloyd Jr., for our entire production team, I'm Glen Moyer. Thank you for watching Balloon Fiesta Live, powered by ExxonMobil. Good day, everybody.
You've been watching Balloon Fiesta Live, powered by ExxonMobil. Always in October and always in Albuquerque. The Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta is the world's premier ballooning event. Make plans now to join us in person in 2022 for the Big 5-0, the 50th Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. Thanks for watching Balloon Fiesta Live. This program is a production of AIBF Inc.